Douluo Dalu. Life or Death Pact. It begins with a forced kiss to Qian Renxue. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 601 Freshman Assessment officially begins. Come on. Aim for the championship. The next day, the announcement of the freshman assessment had already sounded in the academy. Attention all freshmen, attention all freshmen. Please enter the assessment area immediately and prepare to participate in the freshman assessment. The assessment will start in 10 minutes. Finally here. Chu Ye took a deep breath and glanced at Chu Han on the bed next to him. The two looked at each other and immediately went to the freshman assessment. All the freshman first-year students began to run hurriedly to the assessment. On the way, Chu Han and Chu Ye met their teammate Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao. This way. Chu Han waved to Xiao Xiao from a distance. I'm coming, Xiao Xiao responded cutely, and then ran over quickly. The three of them met and walked into the assessment area together. At this moment, the freshman assessment area was already full of people, and almost all the freshmen had gathered. Chu Han suddenly noticed Chu Ye, who was clenching his fists tightly and looking at a boy from class 2 not far away, with a strange look in his eyes. Chu Han asked sharply, Ye, what's the situation? Does that person have a grudge against you? Chu Ye looked at him and said, he is a Yuabin from the freshman class 2. He is my half-brother. Oh? Chu Han's face changed slightly. He had never asked Chu Ye about his family affairs, and Chu Ye had never asked about them. He is the most beloved son of the O family's patriarch and the genius of the O family's generation. I'm just an illegitimate child. Chu Ye didn't say anything more. But Chu Han had roughly guessed it. He saw the anger in Chu Ye's eyes and the trace of hatred, and actually understood everything. Really? Chu Han looked at Yuabin with a cold look. Chu Ye seemed to sense something and said very seriously, Chu Han, I hope you don't take action in this matter. I want to solve it by my own strength. One day, I will defeat Yuabin in front of me in this academy with my own hands. I understand. Chu Han nodded silently. Yuabin seemed to sense Chu Ye's goal and looked over. Yuabin glanced at Chu Ye with disdain. That look was like a high-handed person looking down on others, looking at a lowly servant. When Yuabin looked at Chu Han, he instantly showed a bit of fear. Chu Ye retracted his gaze and stopped paying attention. Now, he was looking forward to the start of this freshman assessment, because this was his first chance to prove himself. It's finally starting. It's time to test the results of 3 months of hard training. Chu Ye clenched his fists again. After 3 months of hard training, Chu Ye's soul power had already been upgraded from level 12 to the peak of level 16. It has only been 4 months since he absorbed the first soul ring. In other words, Chu Ye's soul power has been upgraded from level 10 to level 16 inches 4 months, and it has been upgraded by 6 levels in 4 months. This speed is very amazing, but there are people in the world who can upgrade so quickly at the first ring soul master stage. But Chu Ye can upgrade so quickly. To be honest, even Chu Han was a little surprised. Because he knew that Chu Ye's talent was not strong at the beginning. As for Chu Ye's current level 16 soul power, apart from Chu Ye, Chu Han, and Xiao Xiao, it can be said that few people know about it. Although level 16 is still the bottom, Chu Ye's combat ability has already made an amazing leap. It can be said that his combat awareness and ability have surpassed those top students in the first year. Even the combat ability of most of the second and third year students may not be as good as Chu Ye now. In other words, Chu Ye's current personal combat power has long been strengthened from the tail to the combat level of at least the upper middle level among the first year students, and even close to the top of the first year. However, not many people know Chu Ye's current strength. Therefore, this will be the first time that Chu Ye, from a seemingly insignificant little transparent, has made a big splash and made people really pay attention to his combat. Let's go. We're in District 33S looking at the division and grouping on the big screen in front of them. The 3 members of Chu Han's team immediately went to District 33. There are a total of 400 groups participating in the first year freshman assessment. There are 40 competition zones, each with 10 groups. They will play a single round-robin points competition. Each group will have to fight, and the 5 groups with the most wins and points will advance in the zone. The 5 groups with the most losses will be eliminated and drop out of the Spirit Hall Academy. At this moment, Chu Han and the other two have arrived at Zone 33, and the other 9 groups have also arrived one after another. A female teacher said, "Hello, students. I'm the assessment teacher for you for the next 2 days. You have been assigned to 10 groups in Area 33, and all of you are here now. Before the assessment begins, let me explain the rules of the assessment. Freshmen are not allowed to use soul guides, but there are no restrictions on other weapons. Although the freshman assessment requires students to go all out, malicious harm is not allowed during the assessment. Otherwise, even if you defeat your opponent, you will be judged as a loser and even face punishment from the academy. Do you understand?" "Understood." "Okay, the assessment officially begins now." The female teacher opened the book and called out the names. First round, first game. Freshman Class 1, Chu Han, Douluo Dalu, and Xiao Xiao's team, versus Freshman Class 3, Ai and Johnny, Chen Zhongfen, and Zhou Wei Shen's team. Please ask students from both sides to come on stage for the assessment. Let's go. Chu Han and the other two walked onto the stage with confidence, while the other 3 looked helpless and worried. It's over, it's over. Why are we assigned to the same area as Chu Han and the others? There will definitely be one less place to advance, alas. How can we possibly beat them? Chu Han alone can almost beat the 3 of us, right? Not only the 3 of them, but also the other 8 groups looked uncomfortable. There is no doubt that Chu Han's group will become the nightmare of the 33 divisions. At present, the soul power of the 3 people is 35 levels, Douluo is 16 levels, and Xiao Xiao is 25 levels. In this scene, Chu Han has the highest soul power in the first year, Douluo has the lowest soul power in the first year, and Xiao Xiao's soul power is in the upper middle level, close to the top badge. The 3 opponents in front of them are very ordinary in strength, belonging to the weaker team. The soul power is between 22 and 23 levels. But in fact, the soul power of most freshmen will not exceed 24 levels, so this level difference cannot directly show the strength of a 3-person team. Let's fight. Come on. My big chicken leg. Although the 3 opponents wanted to admit defeat directly, they had no choice but to go all out in the freshman assessment, so the 3 of them directly activated their martial spirits. The fat man standing at the back is a food-type soul master. The other 2 have a sword-type weapon martial spirit and a flying agility attack soul master. Chapter 602. Douluo and Xiao Xiao begin to emerge. The 3 of them were ready for battle. The other 3 were also ready to be beaten by Chu Han, but they never expected that Chu Han would retreat directly to the edge of the battle stage, as if he had no intention of attacking at all. 3 sent soul calming. Spirit eyes. Douluo and Xiao Xiao released their martial spirits and prepared to fight. What does this mean? All the students watching were stunned, including the examiner and the 3 people on the opposite side. Hey! Chu Han. What do you mean by this? The other student asked with a very unhappy look on his face. Chu Han said calmly, I don't need to do anything to deal with you. Yuao and Xiaoxiao were enough to deal with you. What? Chu Han, you underestimate us too much. You're indeed very strong. But without you in your team, how can they defeat us with just the 2 of them? What are you thinking? Do you really think we are weak? A little girl who looks fragile, and a first ring spirit master with a white spirit ring, just the 2 of them, the 3 of us can easily defeat them. Do you understand? You look down on people too much. The 3 opponents said angrily. They felt that they were seriously despised. At present, everyone is unfamiliar with each other in the freshman stage, and because of the freshman assessment, basically in the first 3 months, everyone will not expose their strength and ability too much. Even if they are in the same class, they may not know each other very well. After all, they are in a competitive relationship and have to hide their strength. What's more, they are in different classes, and everyone basically doesn't know each other before going on stage. Therefore, Douluo and Xiaoxiao now give people a very weak feeling. Ha, then give it a try and see if you can defeat them. Chu Han smiled faintly. He was very confident in the current Douluo and Xiaoxiao. Come on, 3 of you at this moment. Douluo and Xiao Xiao were also eager to fight. Hectares, you are really going too far. Let me see how powerful you, a first ring soul master with a white soul ring, and this cute girl are. Go. Smash them. The 2 soul masters on the other side rushed up directly. First soul skill, mind sharing. Douluo directly activated the mind sharing skill, allowing himself and Xiao Xiao to enter a more acute and clear state of insight. Both of them were the kind of soul masters who tended to be auxiliary and control types, but now they took the initiative to kill each other and started a close combat. You are looking for death. You two are not strong attack soul masters, and you dare to rush up and confront us head on. I will see if we don't beat the shit out of you two. The two students on the other side looked very arrogant in front of Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao, and they fought one-on-one in close combat. But after just 2 moves, one of them was hit hard in the abdomen by Yu Yao's punch. Bang. Ah. Yu Yao then hit him with a knee, and then a left hook, instantly knocking him away. Xiao Xiao, with his small body, cleverly avoided all of the opponent's punch and kick combination attacks, and hit the opponent's jaw with an uppercut. Ha. Bang. The opponent was punched into the air by Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao jumped up, spun in the air, and kicked the opponent in the face. Bang. The two are knocked out by Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao at the same time, and crashed into the fat food type soul master behind them. What? This? How is it possible? The two people who were knocked away were shocked by being crushed in a close combat. The fat man quickly caught the two people. But at this time, Xiao Xiao had already activated his soul skill. Second soul skill, the cauldron shakes. Not good. It's over. The Sanxing soul suppressing cauldron rushed straight into the sky and smashed into the 3 people. Even if the 3 people released their soul power to resist, they could not stop the cauldron from shaking. Bang. Boom boom boom. The power was very strong, and Xiao Xiao killed the 3 people on the spot with one blow. The battle is over. Hehe, when you think Shu Han despises you, in fact, you are also despising others. Yu Yao said slowly. He stood with Xiao Xiao, looking at the 3 people lying on the ground with a slight smile on his face. The whole battle was over in less than 10 minutes. And even without Shu Han making a move, the 3 students in front of him were defeated. Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao both showed amazing combat ability and awareness. With combat abilities far exceeding those of the same level, they easily suppressed each other, and finally Xiao Xiao killed the 3 people with one blow. This wave also reflected a certain tacit understanding between the two and their strength. So strong. How is it possible? Forget about Xiao Xiao, how can Yu Yao, who has won 10-year spirit ring, be so strong? At this moment, all the students watching were stunned. It was unbelievable that Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao could win, but they defeated them so easily. Strong. Really strong. The other 2 members of Shu Han's team were also very strong. Okay, this is good. The first place in this year's freshman assessment will definitely be theirs. The whole audience was shocked, boiling, talking and shouting fiercely. Many people had completely put away their contempt for Yu Yao, and even had fear and a little awe in their eyes. In this battle, Yu Yao completely changed from being the last in everyone's eyes to a stronger one, and seemed to be a powerful existence among the freshmen. This Yu Yao is only a wandering spirit master, but he is so powerful. How did he do it? Don't you see who Yu Yao was with all day? I heard that he and Shu Han signed up together. Although he is weak in talent and has a lower spirit power, he is not as weak as the people around Shu Han, who is a fighting monster. And we all underestimated this Xiao Xiao. She looks petite and weak, but she is not simple at all. A group of first-year students outside the field were talking fiercely. After all, Shu Han's team is the most popular team to win the championship among the freshmen. Therefore, in addition to the 10 groups taking the test here, students from other divisions and even senior students in the 33rd division are also watching here. This battle directly made Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao, who were a little transparent, begin to emerge. I told you that beating Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao is enough, but you said I underestimated you. Shu Han shook his head and walked to his 2 teammates. Yu Yao, Xiao Xiao, let's go. Yeah. Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao followed Shu Han's footsteps and walked down the battle stage. Zhang Ye, who was watching secretly, nodded secretly. Not bad, Xiao Xiao and Yu Yao have grown a lot. It seems that Shu Han's team will definitely win the championship this time. Winner. Shu Han team. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 603. 10 consecutive wins. I really don't know how to lose. Then the competition continued. The regional assessment lasted for 2 days, and each of the 10 groups had to fight, a total of 9 games, which were played in 2 days. After the other groups finished playing, it was Shu Han's team's turn again. This time, Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao took action again, fighting against the 3-person team in front of them. The strength of this group can be said to be weaker than the previous group. But everyone already knew that Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao were not weak, so this group did not underestimate the enemy. They went all out and fought very cautiously. The two sides fought fiercely for several rounds, and in the end, Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao defeated the opponent without Shu Han taking action. Winner. Yu Yao's team. Win again. Damn, they won again. This is too strong. Shu Han didn't make a move in the 2 games, and this one ring Yu Yao and that Xiao Xiao won 2 games. Damn, in this case, Shu Han's team doesn't need Shu Han. The other 2 may be completely assessed directly. Impossible. There are 4 games today, and the opponents they have encountered are not strong. How can they win all of them? Look, their condition is a bit bad. The students around were discussing with surprise. With the current strength of Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao, it is indeed impossible to win all the groups, not to mention the strength. The condition alone is a test, because physical strength and soul strength must be considered. By the 3rd round, Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao's condition had obviously declined. The reason why Shu Han asked them to fight was to let Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao experience fighting against different opponents and accumulate experience. They were almost tired after playing 2 games, so Shu Han went on the court directly in this game. Let's get started. This Shu Han finally made a move. Everyone be careful. Even if we lose, we can't lose too shamefully. Martial spirit possession. Come on together. Ha! The 3 rushed over at the same time. Shu Han released the magic sword martial spirit, smiled faintly, and his body flashed away in an instant. He quickly passed between the 3 people, and the magic sword seemed to just dance in his hand. When Shu Han and the 3 opponents passed each other, the battle was over. Ah! Shu Han put away the sword, and the 3 were instantly chopped to the ground, foaming at the mouth, and fainted. Fuck. Instant kill. Instant kill 3. So strong, how can we fight them? It's simply a dimensionality reduction attack. All the students in the audience were stunned for several seconds, and then they held their heads and roared madly. Even the assessment teacher was shocked. This kid is really the most perverted of the perverts. Winner. Shu Han team. 3 consecutive wins. There is no doubt that the next situation will be a crushing victory. After Shu Han took action, it was easily resolved in a short time. 4 consecutive wins. The next day, the assessment competition continued. 5 consecutive wins. 6 consecutive wins. 7 consecutive wins. Winner. Shu Han team. 8 consecutive wins. It was not until the 8th game that Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao finally began to have a high reputation among the first-year students and began to become strong in the eyes of most first-year students. The 9th round of the freshman assessment, the last round, the first game, Shu Han team vs. Xiaoguang team. The assessment begins. Shu Han, Yu Yao, and Xiao Xiao slowly walked onto the stage and prepared to fight, but the 3 opponents had no intention of fighting. One of them, Xiaoguang, shouted, "Wait! Wait! Don't fight yet!" After saying that, Xiaoguang hurriedly ran to Shu Han, lowered his voice, and begged, "Shu Han, please let us win this game. We only need this last game. If we lose this game, we will all be eliminated. We don't want to leave the academy. Since we are in the same class, please let us win. Please. Sorry, we won't play a fate game, and you see, how can we lose to act realistically?" Shu Han shook his head and said, Xiaoguang was also speechless. It's not that he was pretending, but the situation was like this. Xiaoguang's group was also quite weak. In fact, Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao alone might be able to win, not to mention him. The difference in strength is not 1 or 2 times, but it can be said to be 10 times. How can they lose? Shu Han really didn't know how to lose. Although, in fact, as long as they won 5 games in a row, they would have qualified. After completing the freshman assessment, he can stay in the academy to continue studying, but he will not do such a thing. If he does, it will not be believed by the assessment teacher. The assessment teacher's face changed when he heard it. "What are you doing? Xiaoguang, please return to your battle preparation area immediately and start the game, otherwise you will be eliminated directly." Alas, Xiaoguang returned to his battle area with a dead look on his face. If Shu Han and his team refused to let them go, they would have no chance of winning. They had no fighting spirit in this battle. Without the fighting spirit, they were naturally easily defeated by Shu Han and his 3 men. The game is over. Shu Han's team qualified in the 33rd zone with 9 consecutive wins. The games in other zones also ended one by one. In the end, 200 groups completed the freshman assessment and became the official academy of the Spirit Hall Academy to continue studying. The other 200 groups were all eliminated and could pack up and leave the Spirit Hall Academy. But these students who were eliminated by the Spirit Hall Academy, although they left the strongest and most advanced academy in the Spirit Empire, did not mean that no one wanted them. The minimum entry standard for the Spirit Hall Academy is to cultivate to level 21 before the age of 13. Even if such a talent is eliminated, it is still considered a good young Soul Master genius on the continent. There will also be a large number of high-level Soul Master academies that will extend olive branches to it and try to win it over. Therefore, after the new student assessment every year, most of these eliminated academies will join the new academy to continue learning. The 200 groups that advance will have a final draw and battle, and the 10th round of competition. In the end, the top 64 will be selected for the next stage of the promotion match based on the ranking of wins and points. Shu Han's group has already steadily advanced to the next stage with 9 consecutive wins, and even 8 consecutive wins can be steadily promoted. But the 10th round still has to be played. There is no doubt that the 10th round is still a crushing victory. The Shu Han team became the first group of all freshman combinations to win 10 games in a row. But it is not only Shu Han's team that has won 10 games in a row, there are also 4 other groups that have won 10 games in a row. And among these 4 teams, each team has at least one 3-ring Soul Master. They are Oabin's team, Yan Wuxuan's team, Nine Tian team, Xu Banyu team. Chapter 604. A student with strong attack power, soul-breaking spear, Yan Wuxuan. These 4 groups are actually very strong. Like Shu Han, they are all first-year Soul Masters with 3 rings. In addition to each team of students with 3 rings, the other 2 are also not simple. They are the most popular winning teams in this year's freshman assessment. In addition to these 4 teams with 3-ring Soul Masters, there are actually 2 or 3 groups that are all 2 rings, but their strength and coordination are also very strong. This year's freshmen are really good. Several students are even better than most of the third-year colleges. Pay attention to the growth of these good seedlings. An old man stroked his beard and said with great satisfaction, "Okay, Dean." A teacher next to him nodded. One of these 2 is the Dean of the Inner Courtyard, and the other is a teacher of the Inner Courtyard. In fact, as long as the students of the Outer Courtyard are particularly outstanding, they do not have to be promoted to the 6th grade after studying in the Outer Courtyard for a few years. They can be specially recruited into the Inner Courtyard in advance. I heard that the strength of this year's freshmen is very high, so I came to take a look. This time, I saw that in addition to Shu Han, there are indeed several good seedlings. One of them is actually qualified to be specially recruited into the Inner Courtyard in advance, just like Shu Han. All 10 rounds of freshman assessments are over. A total of 64 teams have entered the next stage, the elimination round. The top 4 teams in the elimination round will receive awards from the academy. Tomorrow, the elimination round will begin immediately. Now, all students can go back and rest. Let's go, Yu Dao, Xiao Sao. Okay. The 3 of them looked at each other and left together. Shu Han, I heard that the other 4 teams are teams that have won 10 consecutive games like us. One of the players in one of the teams is very strong. I think we need to pay special attention to him. Yu Dao said at this time. Who is it? Shu Han asked. Yan Wuxuan from class 5. Yan Wuxuan. That person's aura is really good. Shu Han had noticed this person from a distance. He exuded a personal aura that other first-year students did not have. Yu Dao said, as far as I know, Yan Wuxuan's martial spirit is a weapon martial spirit with very strong attack power, called the soul-breaking spear. He is not only a 3-soul soul master, but it is said that he also has extremely strong personal combat capabilities. His attack power is unmatched by any opponent he encounters. It was almost a crushing situation that was defeated by this group. Yan Wuxuan is currently a freshman who is second only to you in personal combat power. Some people even think that Yan Wuxuan is qualified to compete with you. Really? Then this freshman assessment is quite interesting. Shu Han became a little interested. On the second day, the next stage of the freshman elimination match officially began. The 64 groups that were able to win to the elimination match were already strong teams with good strength. At least they were all in the upper middle level of talent among the freshmen. At this moment, the 64 groups have gathered and the elimination match is about to begin. Knockout round, the first match of the top 32 from the top 64, Yang Wudi's team vs. Chen's team. The match begins. Please invite students from both sides to come on stage for the test. Yang Wishwang. Yang Wishwang. Yang Wishwang. As soon as he came on stage, Yang Wishwang received a lot of cheers, and it was obvious that his strength had reached the recognition of most of his classmates. Yang Wishwang walked onto the stage, but he did not focus on his opponent first, but slowly turned his head and looked at Chu Han in the audience seats outside the venue. Chu Han's eyes were also focused on Yang Wishwang at this moment. The two of them exchanged glances for the first time, and there was obviously a tit-for-tat feeling, especially Yang Wishwang's eyes were full of fighting intent, as if he regarded Chu Han as the only opponent of this year's freshman. The stare between the strongest first-year players also make many students around them look forward to their battle. Chu Han, maybe my personal combat ability and strength are not as strong as yours, but this time in that three-person team competition, I have the confidence to beat you. Let's meet in the final, Yang Wishwang muttered to himself in his heart. He slowly retracted his gaze and looked at the opponent in front of him. Chu Han also looked at Yang Wishwang on the stage with great interest. The battle is about to begin. A dark spear, 12 feet long, flashing with a cold and eerie luster, appeared in Yang Wishwang's hand. This was the spirit of the Po Ye clan, one of the 4 single-attribute families back then, the Po Solar Spear. A purely offensive spirit. Take my shot. Here. The Po Solar Spear swung quickly in Yang Wishwang's hand, as if the man and the spear were one, very natural and free, as if it was a part of his body, allowing him to control it at will. As Yang Wishwang launched the attack, he also showed amazing fighting talent and fighting ability, which was completely different from most first-year students. It's a bit interesting. It's unexpected that there is such a strong first-year student, but it's still a little bit behind. At least so far, it's not good enough. Chu Han was slightly interested in seeing this, but only a little. He saw that Yang Wishwang's spearmanship had reached a certain level, just like the sword art with sword intent. And Yang Wishwang does have a superb combat awareness and ability. I'm afraid he knows how to fight better than most of the 5th and 6th graders. He can be said to be a top genius. He is over 12 years old, has 3 rings, and has mastered the gun intent. His combat ability and awareness far exceed those of his peers. He is probably also capable of breaking through the combat power of the 2nd and 3rd graders. However, he certainly cannot defeat Zhu Sanxi and Pilot Baby from the 4th grade. There is no doubt that Yang Wishwang led the team with strong strength, defeated the opponent, and easily won the first victory in the elimination match and entered the top 32. But the other 2 people in Yang Wishwang's team did not make much of a move, as if they were reserving their strength for the strong teams behind. Next, Chu Han's team, Tian's team, Xuanyu's team, and Owabin's team also won the first game. It is no surprise that these teams that won 10 consecutive games have all entered the top 32. On the second day, the game came to the top 32 to the top 16. Yang Wishwang's team once again won this round of games with strong strength and entered the top 16. Yang Wishwang's team wins. Owabin's team wins. Owabin's team is also quite strong, and they basically defeated their opponents with their strong strength. Tian's team and Xuanyu's team have begun to gradually struggle. The last match of the knockout round from 32 to the top 16, Chu Han's team vs. Wang Shuten's team. Please invite the students from both sides to compete on stage. At this moment, Chu Han, Douluo Dalu, and Xiao Xiao have already come on stage, and the 3 people on the opposite side have also stood up, a boy with yellow hair, and 2 twin sisters. The other party introduced themselves. My name is Wang Shuten, they are Lan Susu and Lan Luo, please teach me. Class 1, Chu Han, Douluo Dalu, Xiao Xiao, please teach me. Chapter 605 Twin Sisters, Lan Susu and Lan Luo. The 2 sides have already taken their battle positions, and the game has begun. Chu Han originally thought that the team in front of him was also a team that could be easily defeated, but he did not expect that the 2 twin sisters on the other side actually knew the martial soul fusion technique. They immediately used the martial soul fusion technique at the beginning. Facing a strong man like Chu Han, if they don't use it quickly, there will be no chance to use it, and their martial soul fusion technique is also the only chance to defeat Chu Han and the other 2. Martial soul fusion technique, a net of heaven and earth. The 2 sisters instantly crossed their fingers together, and a force rose between them. The next second, the hair of the 2 sisters became extremely long, and formed a vortex of hair that soared into the sky and surrounded Chu Han. Martial soul fusion technique. This is the first time I have seen it. Shu Han stood there calmly, looking at the hare that was about to trap him, and was a little curious. The martial souls of these two sisters are also very strange. Like a Yue Dao, they are the body martial souls. But their body martial souls are the hair on their bodies. The body martial souls are hair. Lan Suzu, Lan Luo, you must do your best to trap Shu Han. I will go deal with Yue Dao and Xiao Xiao. After I deal with them, the three of us will kill Shu Han together. Wang Shuten said, and decisively activated his first soul skill, Mighty Veta Fist. Wang Shuten's martial soul is a very powerful Veta Beast martial soul, which has powerful strength, destructive power, and good physical strength. His level 25 soul power plus various abilities make him one of the strongest freshmen of this year. This top melee warrior will naturally have a higher combat power than Yue Dao and Xiao Xiao, who were not strong attack spirit masters. He alone is indeed enough to fight Yue Dao and Xiao Xiao, but it is not so easy to win a 1-on-2 fight. 3 lives soul suppressing cauldron. Ha! Xiao Xiao smashed the cauldron directly, and Wang Shuten punched it away with a domineering punch, and quickly stuck to the two. Then he launched a fierce attack. Although Yue Dao also possessed good combat abilities, he still found it difficult to resist the overbearing power of Wang Shuten. After all, he was only inclined to control and assist. Yue Dao had always been fighting with his weaknesses. His real strength now is actually in assisting attacks. Second soul skill, the Hammer of Power. Ha! Bang! Boom boom boom! Wang Shuten attacked with all his strength. He had to kill Yue Dao and Xiao Xiao before Shu Han emerged from the net. At this moment, Shu Han, who was surrounded by a mass of hair, stood calmly in it with the magic sword in his hand, looking around. He slowly raised the magic sword in his hand, because he knew that Yue Dao and Xiao Xiao would not be killed so easily by Wang Shuten. Shu Han tried to strike a sword, and a sword energy was released. Puff! Indeed, the sword easily cut off the hair, but the hair also restored its connection in an instant. Shu Han's face changed slightly. What about this? Shu Han swung the sword again, but this sword expanded the range of destruction, but it became impossible to cut it. Oh? Interesting. It seems that there are times when you, Shu Han, are helpless. The sweet laughter of Lan Suzu and Lan Luo, the two twin sisters, rang out around. Helpless? Shu Han smiled in his heart. Our martial soul fusion skill, the Sky Dervnat, the larger the destructive range, the stronger the defensor, although it can't defend against the power of a small range. But it can't let people escape easily. Shu Han, your power is indeed strong, but facing the martial soul fusion skills of our two sisters, it's not that easy. The Lan sisters said confidently. Really, you don't really think that this can trap me? Shu Han's face was filled with a faint sense of confidence. Well, then you can try it. Although we can't bear to see a genius like you fail, if you insist on trying, then there's nothing we can do. The Lan sisters looked a little distressed, but it was obvious that they showed absolute confidence in their martial soul fusion skills. But just as they finished speaking, the next second, Shu Han's body was filled with an extremely terrifying momentum, and countless domineering sword ki surrounded him. That was sword intent. At this moment, Lan Suzu and Lan Luo's faces changed drastically, and a bad premonition came to their hearts. Although they were very confident, they did not dare to be careless and released their power to the limit to make the net even stronger. God and Demon Sword Intent. God and Demon Dancing. Ushu. 3 months after Shu Han entered school, he finally released the God and Demon Sword Intent for the first time. At that moment, with just one sword, he created a huge and sharp tornado with sword intent and sword energy. Ah! In an instant, the tornado released by the God and Demon Sword Intent destroyed the entire net of hair and cut it clangly. Ah! Lan Luo and Lan Suzu also ran out of strength and fell to the ground. What? Lan Suzu and Lan Luo's martial soul fusion skills were actually broken so easily. Wang Shuten, who had not yet dealt with Yue Dao and Xiao Xiao, was horrified. Before he could react, Shu Han had already released his first soul skill and attacked. Demon Sword Slash. Bang. Boom. The Demon Sword Slash hit Wang Shuten's back and knocked the last opponent to the ground on the spot. At this time, Shu Han and the other two had surrounded and attacked. I give up. I give up. Wang Shuten really raised the white flag and surrendered. The game is over. Shu Han's team won. Your team, with Lan Suzu and Lan Luo, has a very strong martial arts fusion skill. In my opinion, it is at least the level of the top 4. Unfortunately, you met us in advance. Shu Han said seriously. Alas, Wang Shutin and the other two also sighed. They felt very sorry and unwilling to fail to enter the top 4. Because they did have the confidence to reach the top 4, but they were unlucky and stopped in the top 32. The third day. The top 16 to the top 8. Yan Wuchuan defeated the opponent again with a strong move and entered the top 8. Nine Tian's team also entered the top 8 after a hard battle. Oabin's team entered the top 8. Xuanyu's team entered the top 8. Xu Han's team also reached the top 8. 5 groups of teams with 10 consecutive wins all reached the top 8. Looking at the battle list on the display screen, the next opponent is Nine Tian's team. Liu Yao said seriously, "We're finally going to meet the first team with a 3-ring Soul Master and 10 consecutive wins." "Well, but this 3-ring Soul Master seems to be a support Soul Master, right?" Xu Han asked. Xiao Xiao pouted and said, "Don't underestimate this." 9 Tian. Chapter 606. 8-4, versus 7 Treasures Glazed Tower. 9 Tian team. Xiao Xiao pouted and said, "Don't underestimate 9 Tian. His martial spirit is the 7 Treasures Glazed Pagoda, which is one of the top auxiliary martial spirits on the continent. I have heard of the 7 Treasures Glazed Pagoda." Xu Han said. The 7 Treasures Glazed sect was one of the top 3 of the 7 major sects in the era 10,000 years ago, before the Spirit Hall ruled the Douluo Continent. Today, although the 7 Treasures Glazed sect is not as prosperous as it was in the past, it is still a relatively powerful Soul Master sect on the continent. A big reason for the complete decline of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect is that there is a powerful sword family, the Qian family, in the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. However, no matter how strong the auxiliary Soul Master is, without a strong attacking Soul Master, he can't go far. Even without us, 9 Tian's team will find it difficult to win the championship. Xu Han said lightly. He didn't take this team seriously. At present, only Yang Wuchuan's team can arouse his interest. The 4th day. The knockout round finally came to the top 4. In the first match, Yang Wuchuan's team faced off against another team with a 3-ring Soul Master, Xuanyu. This time, Yang Wuchuan finally showed some seriousness and strength, and the other 2 2-ring Soul Masters also began to attack vigorously. The other 2 2-ring Soul Masters in Yang Wuchuan's team, one is a level 25 Control Soul Master, and the other is a level 25 Healing Soul Master. This Healing Soul Master is incredible. His name is Yi Limling, and his martial soul is 9 Heart Begonia. The strongest healing martial soul in Douluo Continent is still passed down from one line to another. With Yi Limling constantly healing in the back and Yang Wuchuan madly attacking in the front, the Control Soul Master has not helped Yang Wuchuan much so far. He just guarded in front of Yi Limling and occasionally attacked. In this way, the opponent's Xuanyu team, which had a 3-ring Soul Master, was beaten by Yang Wuchuan's team without any ability to fight back. In the second match, Oabin's team fought against a team of Soul Masters who were all 2-ring. In the end, Oabin's team also made it to the semi-finals with a strong momentum. In the third match, 2 teams of 3 Soul Masters with 2 rings fought. The 2 teams fought fiercely, but the intensity was not high, and they were not among the candidates for the champions that everyone expected. In the 4th match, Xu Han's team finally came to fight against 9 Tian's team with 3 Soul Masters. Please ask the students from both sides to come on stage. The game is about to begin. Class 1, Grade 1, Xu Han, a level 35 strong attack system Soul Master. Class 1, Grade 1, Liu Yao, a level 16 control system Soul Master. Class 1, Grade 1, Xiao Xiao, a level 24 control system weapon Soul Master. At this moment, 9 Tian, who was wearing the uniform of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect that could be seen at a glance, stood between 2 women with long legs and a somewhat charming and sexy look. A beautiful lady in a pink dress said, Class 9, Nanmen Yuna, a 24th level agility attack spirit master. Class 9, Wu Fen, a 25th level power attack spirit master. Class 9, 9 Tian, a 31st level auxiliary weapon spirit master. 9 Tian, let me see how powerful the top auxiliary martial spirits on the continent are. Xu Han said to his teammates with some interest, Yu Dao, Xiao Xiao, let me meet them alone in this match. Liu Yao and Xiao Xiao looked at each other and smiled. In the battle until now, either Xu Han did not take action, or the 3 of them worked together to solve the opponent. This was the first time that Xu Han proposed to fight the 3 opponents alone. It can be seen that the degree of cooperation between the 3 people in front of him has aroused a little interest in Xu Han. Okay, then I'll leave it to you. Liu Yao and Xiao Xiao withdrew their strength and slowly retreated to the back. 19. Wu Feng and Nanmeni Yuna on the other side were delighted to see this. If any of the three of them went up, they would be beaten by Shu Han. Even if Wu Feng and Nanmeni Yuna joined forces, 2 against 1, they would definitely not be able to beat them. But if Wu Feng and Nanmeni Yuna were assisted by the 7 treasures glazed tower, they would have the confidence to challenge Shu Han. But the opponent is not just Shu Han, there are also Yu Yao and Xiao Xiao. 19 and the other 2 didn't know how to win no matter how they thought. But Shu Han wanted to challenge the 3 of them alone now, so they might defeat Shu Han first and then deal with the other 2. Hehe, Shu Han, are you sure? Our strength is not to be underestimated. Don't lose to us because of your arrogance and self-confidence. 19 seized the opportunity to sneer coldly, just to make Shu Han more angry. But Shu Han was actually very calm, and he would not lose his calm and become impulsive because of what others said. Staying calm and always maintaining the best state of wakefulness are the basic elements required for a top combat master. He shook his head and smiled. My state of mind is completely on another level with you. Your words are very low level. Don't waste your breath, just take action. This guy. So arrogant. 19's words not only failed to irritate Shu Han, but he was a little overwhelmed by Shu Han's words. Our 7 treasures glazed pagoda martial soul will encounter the top auxiliary martial soul on the continent, so it naturally has its strengths. Today, I'll let you take a good look at the power of the 7 treasures glazed pagoda martial soul, and how much it can increase the strong attack type soul masters. You may not be able to defeat the 3 of us. Wu Feng. Nanmeni Yuna, do it. Let's go. Wu Feng and Nanmeni Yuna started moving, and the 2 of them ran quickly towards Shu Han on both sides. 19's 7 treasures glazed tower martial spirit also appeared in his hand, and he activated his spirit skills. The 7 treasures turn into glazed glass, and the 7 treasures have their names, one is strength, and the other is speed. 19 directly released the first and second spirit skills, giving them to Wu Feng and Nanmeni Yuna respectively, and at the same time increasing their speed and strength by 40%. The speed of the 2 beauties increased a lot in an instant. So fast. Yu Yao behind him was shocked, but when he came back to his senses, Wu Feng and Nanmeni Yuna had already punched and kicked Shu Han from both sides. Bang! Bang! Shu Han caught Wu Feng's fist with his left hand, and raised his arm to block Nanmeni Yuna's leg. Under the amplification of the 7 treasures tower, the strength and speed seemed to be unable to threaten Shu Han. Does it look good? Nanmeni Yuna asked with a charming face and a smile. She attacked with her legs, and at this moment she was raising her legs high, passing through the thighs. The mysterious color in it had already appeared in front of Shu Han. Shu Han glanced at Nanmeni Yuna's panties calmly, his face calm but his heart surging. He replied, "It's just so, nothing interesting." Before Wu Feng and Nanmeni Yuna could come to their senses, Shu Han had already punched the 2 beauties away mercilessly. Bang! How can this be? You actually said it's nothing interesting. Nanmeni Yuna was angry, stamping her feet in anger, and felt very frustrated. Chapter 607 Semi-Final Opponent, Oabin Team. Although Nanmeni Yuna is not considered a top beauty in the Wuhan Hall Academy, she is at least a goddess-level existence. There are also a lot of male students in the academy who admire her beauty. Shu Han was unmoved by her beauty, but he didn't feel anything when he saw such a private existence of a girl like her. First-year students are 11, 12, or 3 years old, and they are all very immature. They can just understand the charm of the opposite sex and begin to yearn for love and other things. It's the beginning of love. If it were any first-year boy, she would be directly attracted by her charming teasing, sweet smile, and then look at Xiaonai. His eyes were immediately lustful, forgetting that he was fighting, losing his composure, and at the very least, he would be shy and embarrassed. As a result, Shu Han looked unmoved and said something very disdainful, "It's meaningless." This was the first time that Nanmeni Yuna felt that her appearance was useless and was hit hard. Shu Han had forgotten it long ago. Just now, after seeing what happened to Nanmeni Yuna's underwear, she commented seriously, "Not bad. With your 1 or 2 amplifications, at least their strength and speed can be increased to the level of a 3-soul master. The auxiliary amplification effect of the 7 treasures glazed tower is indeed excellent, but with this level alone, they are still a long way from defeating me. Damn it. Don't underestimate us. Take it." Wu Feng and Nanmeni Yuna were very dissatisfied, and they surrounded and rushed up again, launching a fierce attack on Shu Han. Bang, bang, bang. The 2 beauties were frantically attacking Shu Han with fists and feet from all directions. As soon as they were very fast, their strength was also increased, and they cooperated very well. But no matter how they attacked or how they attacked, they were avoided and blocked by Shu Han one by one. Shu Han even stood in the same place and did not move a step away from their fierce attack. How is it possible? He can't defend. And he didn't move at all. How could it be? How could he be so strong? The two beauties were hit hard and became more and more collapsed. Tian knew that he had to attack again, otherwise Wu Fen and Nanmani Yuna would attack until they were autistic, and then their mentality would collapse. Seeing this, Tian decisively activated the third solar skill of the Purple Millennium. 3 days. Soul. Wu Fen and Nanmani Yuna once again gave the soul power amplification. At this moment, both of them had reached the level of Soul Master in all aspects. The only difference from Soul Master was that they did not have the third solar skill. After the soul power was amplified, the two immediately launched solar skills to attack. First solar skill, Scarlet Blade. A fiery red bird appeared behind Nanmani Yuna. It was her martial soul agate firebird. This firebird seemed to be attached to her body, and it made the same action and attack reaction with her attack. Its output ability was extremely sharp. First solar skill, Dragon Fire. Roar. Wu Fen was also given the Dragon's Flame, making her attack power even stronger. Well, after the soul power amplification of the third solar skill, plus their own amplification skills, the strength is indeed much higher than before, but it's still not enough. Humph. Don't be too arrogant. The two beauties were very unconvinced. With the amplification of Tian's 3 attributes, plus their own martial soul amplification skills, their current state and combat power, even among the entire first-year freshmen, are considered top combat power. They started to attack Shu Han again. But no matter how they hit, Shu Han was still not hurt at all, but it was not as unbearable as before, and Shu Han didn't even need to move. How could this be? How could he be so strong? Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Bang bang bang. Shu Han seemed to be invulnerable, predicting, defending, and dodging all their attacks. I don't believe it. We can't hurt you. Second solar skill, Dragon's Fury. Wu Fen strengthened again, and her second solar skill was also a powerful amplification skill. Second solar skill, Crimson Slash. It seems that this is your limit. I have seen your level, and the ability of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tower is indeed a good auxiliary. Unfortunately, the battle should end now. Second solar skill, God and Demon Body. Bang. Boom. The terrifying momentum rose instantly. The first solar skill, Demon Sword Slash. Bang. The Demon Sword Slash flew out and collided head-on with the opponent's Crimson Slash. But it also instantly slashed and hit Nanmani Yuna's body, killing one on the spot. The next second, Shu Han moved his feet and directly locked onto Tian in the last row. Not good. Wu Fen, protect me. Tian panicked. Seeing this, Wu Fen rushed over to resist, but he couldn't stop Shu Han at all, and was slashed away by him. Only Tian, who had almost no fighting ability, was left. Shu Han easily kicked him away and couldn't get up. Damn it, the three of them looked frustrated and upset. Not only did they not win, but they also did not completely crush the opponent. Only then did they realize how whimsical they were before. I didn't expect your combat ability to be so weak. Your martial spirit is good, but you rely too much on the power of your martial spirit. That's a mistake. Looking at Tian, who had almost no combat power, Shu Han shook his head. Tian's face was pale, and he said unconvincedly, I'm just a support-type spirit master. Why do I need such a strong combat ability? Hehe, if you're on the field or in a real life and death battle, without teammates around you, people like you will become trash that can be killed by anyone. Learn from Liu Yao. He is also a support-type spirit master now, and he also has the combat power to defeat a second-ring great spirit master. Shu Han said, and then he withdrew his strength. The three were defeated by Shu Han alone, and the battle ended. Shu Qin's team wins. This is Shu Han. This is the strongest of our first grade. Our first grade god. Too strong. So strong. The audience was extremely passionate, cheering and shouting. In this way, the final 4 teams were produced. And the top 4 can already get the rewards of the academy. With the advancement of Shu Han's team, the list of the next match has also been announced. Yang Wuchuan's team will play against the only team. The 3 remaining second-ring teams. Shu Han's team will play against Oabin's team. Finally, I met him, Oabin. Looking at the next opponent, Liu Bao's eyes were condensed and his fists were clenched tightly. He was already looking forward to the battle with Liu Bin's team. Before the start of the semi-finals, there will be a day of rest. The next day, Liu Bao began to practice madly with Firefoot, because he felt that his soul power was about to break through level 17. Chapter 608 Tianmeng. Xiao Yuao, tell him boldly. It only takes you 2.5 years to surpass him. Liu Bao practiced for a whole day, until 1 a.m. Liu Bao's soul power finally broke through to level 17. I broke through. I broke through. Liu Bao was very happy and excited, but he realized that it was very late now, and if he was too loud, he would wake up Shu Han who was sleeping on the bed next to him. But Shu Han had already been woken up. Liu Bao awkwardly avoided his head. Sorry. Shu Han, I woke you up. It's okay, you can go to rest now that you have broken through to level 17. After saying that, Shu Han was secretly surprised and muttered in his heart. This guy, why does it feel like he is practicing faster and faster? At this moment, the voice of Tianmeng Silkworm also sounded in Liu Bao's mind. Xiao Yuao, quickly practice your soul power to level 20, then I will take you to deal with the second martial soul, and then it will be the time for you to truly transform. When you return to the Wuhan Hall Academy, you will definitely make a big splash. Really? Brother Tianmeng. Liu Bao looked expectant. Of course, I believe you. Tianmeng Silkworm said confidently. It is already planned where to take Liu Bao to get the second soul ring and what kind of ice attribute soul beast to get. Everything is waiting for Liu Bao to upgrade his soul power to level 20. At the time, the Tianmeng Silkworm will give Liu Bao a huge transformation in power. Yeah. Liu Bao nodded, and he was already looking forward to the time when he would be given the second soul ring and even the second martial soul after reaching level 20. The second day. The elimination round of the freshman assessment continued. And the competition finally came to the final semi-finals, 4-2. Yang Wuchuan's team once again defeated the top 4 teams with a strong offensive, and stepped into the finals. The second game of the freshman assessment elimination semi-finals, Shu Han team vs. Bin team. Bin, you and I are finally competing on the same stage on this freshman assessment stage. I must win this game today, and our team will definitely defeat you. Liu Bao clenched his fists tightly, with a bit of anger in his eyes, and then Yuchun and Xiao Xiao stepped onto the battle stage. On the other side, Bin led the other 2 female team members to step onto the battle stage. He crossed his arms and looked at Liu Bao with disdain, sneering. Hectares, I never thought that a waste like you could join the Academy of the Spirit Hall and even enter the semi-finals of the freshman assessment to compete with me. You really surprised me. A waste like you. If it weren't for Shu Han next to you, you wouldn't even be qualified to stand opposite me and fight me now. Bin sneered with disdain. Liu Bao silently clenched his fists, staring at his half-brother in front of him, and said coldly, Shu Han is indeed my benefactor, Liu Bao, but I can stand here and in front of you today, and I also have my own efforts and countless sweat. Bin. Today we will defeat you and enter the finals. In the future, I will also defeat you with my own strength. Surpass you. Just you. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Bin couldn't help laughing when he heard it. Bin really had no confidence in winning this game. Because one of Liu Bao's teammates was the extremely terrifying Shu Han, even though he was very confident and conceited and thought he was awesome and a genius, he also knew how terrifying Shu Han was. Although Bin was very unwilling to lose to the team led by Shu Han, he was actually convinced. But if he was told that Liu Bao could surpass him and defeat him with his own strength in the future, how could Bin believe it? He thought Liu Bao was just dreaming. He was extremely confident, conceited, arrogant and said arrogantly, You think you can defeat me? Surpass me? Ha ha ha. Liu Bao, how can a rubbish like you surpass me? Huh. You are just a 1-ring soul master, and I have already been a 3-ring soul master. Even if you are given 10 years to practice, you may not be able to reach my current level, right? Surpass me. You are really a big talker and a daydream. The gap between you and me will not only not narrow, but will only get bigger and bigger. Surpass me, don't even think about surpassing me in your lifetime. White Tiger Possession. Roar. Bin directly released his martial spirit, and the 2 team members beside him also released their martial spirits at the same time and entered combat status. Have you seen the gap between you and me? Liu Bao, there is a 1-year difference between you and me. I am 1 year older than you, but I am already a level 31 Soul Master. And you are 1 year younger than me, but you are just a level 16 waste. The difference in cultivation talent between you and me is already destined to be something you cannot surpass in this life. Look at our martial souls. I'm a top quality white tiger martial soul, and you are just a mutated or auxiliary martial soul. The strength is not at the same level at all. What can you use to surpass me? Roar. Oabin actually showed the posture and aura of a strong man, which made Douluo deeply aware of the current gap between the two. TSK, what's so great about it? This Oabin's talent and strength are indeed good, but compared with Chu Han next to you, it is far worse. Xiao Yuedao, although I am not absolutely sure that I can train you to surpass Chu Han, this Oabin is nothing. Tell him boldly that it will only take you 2.5 years to surpass him. Qian Renxue said confidently with a look of disdain. 2 or 2.5 years. Brother Qian Meng, are you sure I can do it in such a short time? Douluo was naturally confident that he would surpass Oabin one day in the future. But he really didn't have the confidence to do so in just 2.5 years. After all, he was only level 17 now, while Oabin was level 32, with a soul power difference of 15 levels. Moreover, in 2.5 years, not only he was getting stronger, but Oabin was also getting stronger. Oabin was also very talented and his cultivation speed was not slow. Therefore, it was very difficult to catch up in such a short time. Believe me. You can definitely do it. Tell him loudly. Qian Mengai's silkworm still said confidently. Okay. Douluo was also influenced by Qian Mengai's silkworm's confidence, which made him more confident. This could also be regarded as a staged goal set for his own cultivation. Oabin. Who said that I am destined to never surpass you in this life? I, Douluo, can surpass you in just 2.5 years. Besides, I'm level 17 now. As soon as these words came out, the whole audience was shocked, thinking that Douluo was just bragging and talking big. The other students were speechless, thinking, how the hell is this possible? A level 17 Soul Master surpassed a level 32 Soul Master in 2.5 years, not to mention whether he could surpass it. In just 2.5 years, it is impossible to go from level 17 to Oabin's current level of 32, right? Chapter 609. Douluo and Oabin's duel. Final. There is a difference of 15 levels. 15 levels in 2.5 years, 12 months in a year, and 30 months in 2.5 years. In other words, Douluo now has to increase his soul power by 1 level every 2 months on average. How can he do it so fast? The cultivation was a little faster when he was at the first ring, but do you really think that it is so easy to upgrade when you reach the level of a great soul master? Is it so easy to break through from level 29 to level 30? All the students shook their heads and didn't believe it at all. Chu Han couldn't help but look at Douluo with surprise when he heard it, and muttered in his heart, "Are you so confident?" Although Chu Han knew that Douluo had grown very fast in the past 3 months, he was indeed far behind Oabin in strength. And Oabin was indeed very powerful, with both talent and strength. He was a little skeptical about the 2.5 years. But Chu Han didn't think Douluo really couldn't do it. He also wanted to see how much Douluo could grow in 2.5 years. 2.5 years. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Oabin laughed directly. Wake up. Stop dreaming. You useless piece of shit. Go. Oabin led 2 female team members and attacked Chu Han and the other 2 at the same time. There was no auxiliary spirit master in their team. The 3 of them were all combat types and were very good at fighting. They were a completely offensive team. In addition to Oabin, who was level 32, the other 2 were also level 25 spirits, and their combat strength was not weak. Leave Chu Han to me. You 2 go and kill Douluo Xiao first. Oabin was the only one among the 3 who could barely fight against Chu Han. He was also confident that he could at least fight Chu Han for a few rounds. But Oabin was Douluo's enemy. In Chu Han's eyes, he was no longer an ordinary assessment opponent, so he would naturally not show mercy. Leave it to you. Do you think you can survive a few moves in my hands? Chu Han asked indifferently. You are strong. But I am not weak either. Take my punch. Chu Han. Roar. Oabin was very fierce and punched directly at him. His martial spirit was the kind of power that was very domineering, and he was quite confident in a head-on fight. Chu Han sneered and also swung his sword at him. Bang. You think you are very strong? What? How is it possible? Oabin felt the difference in strength and looked ugly. The two forces faced each other head-on, and the soul power was madly resisting and suppressing, but in just 3 seconds, Oabin's collapsed instantly. Ah! Oabin was chopped and flew away by Chu Han's sword on the spot. Oabin! You still have the mood to pay attention to him, your opponent is, as Xiao Xiao said playfully, and the next second, he directly released the second soul ring. 9 phoenixes arriving. Xiao, the first soul skill, slow. Xiao Xiao directly pushed the 9 phoenixes arriving Xiao, and the beautiful music sounded, and layers of invisible sound waves enveloped it. The speed of the two opponents was reduced on the spot. Twin martial souls. Oh no. Our speed has been greatly reduced. Xiao Xiao's main skill was the 3-life soul shocking cauldron, but her second martial soul had also been cultivated to the first ring. Well done, Xiao Xiao. Yu Yao seized the opportunity and rushed directly towards the two of them, and beat them back with 1 punch and 1 kick. Bang! A mere first ring spirit master. The two of them felt very embarrassed to be beaten back by a first ring spirit master, and did not use spirit skills to charge again. Yu Yao's combat ability was no longer what it used to be. In addition, with Xiao Xiao's slow speed weakening and suppressing him, he fought back and forth with 2 second ring spirit masters by himself. Facing the siege of the two, Yu Yao did not fall into the disadvantage. Aga! Bang! Yu Yao fought with all his strength. He showed all the combat experience he had learned from Chu Han at this moment. At that moment, he continuously avoided the punches and kicks of the two of them. He punched one of them in the face and kicked the other in the stomach, knocking them both back again. This Yu Yao is obviously only a 1-ring spirit master, a support-type spirit master, but he can actually beat them back again. Damn, he's too strong. Yu Yao's move shocked the onlookers again. If Yu Yao is also a strong attack spirit and spirit master, with the power and combat ability of a strong attack spirit, with this level of combat, wouldn't no one under the 3rd ring be his opponent? Damn it. Use spirit skills to deal with him. The two opponents were furious. Although they were very unconvinced, they also knew that they had to fight quickly. When the two were about to use their spirit skills, Yu Yao also knew that he was no match. After all, none of his skills were offensive. But at this time, on the other side, Oabin's screams were heard. Ah, I can't even survive 10 moves from him. Oabin looked depressed. It's over. Seeing Oabin lying on the ground, the other 2 female team members looked depressed and had lost their will to fight. Because they were bound to lose. In the end, Chu Han, Yu Yao, and Xiao Xiao joined forces and were also knocked to the ground. Oabin, you're lost. Yu Yao looked at Oabin in front of him coldly. Oabin looked ruthless. Humph. It's not you who defeated me. What are you so arrogant about? I can win the team competition because the people on your team are too strong. If it's just you, what can you do to fight me? Oabin, I said I would surpass you in 2.5 years. How about today, you and I agree to fight in 2.5 years? If you lose, kneel on the ground and admit your mistake to me. How about it? Yu Yao's eyes flashed with hatred again. That's right, in fact, Yu Yao's mother was indirectly killed by Oabin. It can also be said that she died because of him. Oh, okay. I agree. You will understand how stupid your actions today are. Oabin gritted his teeth, his face gloomy. With Chu Han around, he really didn't dare to cause trouble to Yu Yao in private. He would naturally accept this battle. He would beat Yu Yao severely at the time. The game is over. Chu Han's team won. Tomorrow, we will enter the finals of the last round of the freshman assessment elimination match. We're finally going to the finals. If we win this last game, we will be official students of the Wihun Hall Academy. Chu Han, Yu Yao, and Xiao Xiao looked at each other and walked off the stage together. The next day, the finals came. Chu Han's team versus Yan Wuchuang's team. This battle for the final championship is here. Chu Han, the first-year freshman who is recognized as the best, and Yan Wuchuang, who is also recognized as the second strongest. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 610 Finals. Chu Han team versus Yan Wuchuang team. This battle has attracted a lot of attention. Almost all the first-year and 6th level students in the outer courtyard have come. At this moment, Pilot Babade and Zhu Sanxi are also sitting together to watch. Zhu Sanxi said, It is said that this year's freshmen have another monster besides Shu Han. Yan Wishwang, right? I have heard a little bit about it. It is said that in the freshman assessment so far, this Yan Wishwang has never used his full strength, but he has led the team to the finals easily. Is that so? The freshmen in this generation are really perverted. There are actually two monsters at the same time. I'm really looking forward to it. Who is stronger between this Yan Wishwang and this Shu Han? Zhu Sanshi said. Isn't stronger than Shu Han. Pilot Beyblade vaguely remembered the scene when he was beaten by Shu Han. At this moment, both sides have come to the competition field. Shu Han, a Yue Dao, and Xiao Xiao are facing Yang Wuyi, Yi Limling, and a level 25 controller spirit master, Chen Feng. Yan Wishwan walked to Shu Han step by step, and said with a strong fighting spirit, Shu Han, as I expected, we finally met in the finals. I hope you can fight us with all your strength. Let me see how strong you are. Can I, Yan Wishwang, defeat you? Or how big the gap between you and me is? Yan Wishwang said very seriously. He was absolutely confident in himself, but this confidence was not blind. He even knew that he was probably not as strong as Shu Han, but he still had a strong fighting spirit. It was a kind of fearlessness in the face of a strong person, wanting to surpass and challenge. If you are qualified to let me use my full strength, I will let you see it. Shu Han will continue to challenge the inner court disciples and even the core disciples behind. Therefore, many of his abilities have not been shown yet. Okay. Then I will force you to use your full strength. Watch. Yan Wishwan returned to his fighting position. Soul-breaking spear. A spear appeared in Yan Wishwan's hand. Demon sword. A sword also appeared in Shu Han's hand. One person held a sword, and the other held a sword, standing in front of the two teams with a fighting spirit. The two three-man teams were almost all composed of one person attacking and two people assisting. The strongest fighting style was actually two people assisting one person. Xiao Xiao and Yue now assisted Shu Han in fighting and attacking, while Yi Lingling and Chen Feng assisted Yan Wishwang in fighting and attacking. Come and fight. Shu Han. I will use my strongest power to meet your attack head-on. Ah. Take my shot. Yan Wishwang shouted, and attacked with a terrifying shot of the soul-breaking spear in his hand. In a head-on confrontation, I, Shu Han, have never lost in this Wooden Hall Academy. Let's have a head-on battle. Shu Han, holding the demon sword, also killed instantly. Hush. Bang. The two bodies approached each other rapidly, and finally hit each other head-on. The two weapons, the demon sword martial soul and the soul-breaking spear martial soul, collided first, followed by mutual suppression of soul power. The strong attack power is already not inferior to my demon sword martial soul. Shu Han was slightly surprised in his heart, and started a full 10 seconds of confrontation with Yan Wishwang. After 10 seconds, they were both shocked back. In this first confrontation, the two are evenly matched. This is the first time I've seen someone who can fight Shu Han on equal terms in a direct confrontation. Yan Wishwang is really strong. The crowd exclaimed. The direct confrontation of strength is nothing. Shu Han's real strength lies in his terrifying fighting consciousness and ability. Therefore, if Yan Wishwang can fight Shu Han on equal terms in a direct battle, then he is really terrifyingly strong. A famous student explained. Come again. Yan Wishwang shouted again and rushed towards Shu Han. He waved his gun smoothly and attacked Shu Han fiercely. Shu Han's own swordsmanship was not superb either. Both of them showed off their swordsmanship and gunsmanship and launched a fierce 1v1 close combat. Ah! Bang bang bang! Ding 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 ding! Yan Wishwang roared and attacked frantically. The sword and the gun were constantly colliding and fighting. He became braver and more fierce as he fought. At the same time, his attack power would become stronger and stronger as he continued to attack. Shu Han frowned, having already discovered this detail. My soul-breaking spear is a pure attack-type weapon spirit, while our soul-breaking clan only has a single attribute, and only focuses on studying how to make our own attack power stronger. In the constant fighting, my attack power will only become stronger and stronger. Yan Wishwang said while fighting fiercely, and at the same time, accompanied by a terrifying shot, blasted away. Yan Wishwang's current state has reached a state where no matter how strong the opponent is, it will not affect his mentality, and he always has the belief of always maintaining victory. This belief forms a momentum, and the stronger the momentum, the stronger the attack of the soul-breaking spear. But the strange thing is that although Yan Wishwang looks very fierce and strong, the one who is suppressed is still Yan Wishwang. Interesting, if it weren't for my fighting ability being far superior to yours, I really couldn't beat you in close combat. Shu Han's unexpected sword directly cut Yang Wuxuan open. Yang Wuxuan covered his aching chest with a serious expression on his face. Damn it. I have been receiving high-intensity combat training from my father since I was 6 years old. I practiced day and night every day. Until now, I thought I had no rivals in combat ability among people at the same age. But there is still such a huge gap between us. How did you train? Yang Wuxuan really couldn't understand how Shu Han trained his combat ability to be so strong. His combat ability, Yang Wuxuan, can be said to be the best among his peers. No one dares to claim to be second. Even for students in the 6th grade, most people may not be as good as Yang Wuxuan in the 1st grade in terms of combat awareness. As a result, Shu Han is even more terrifying than him. Awesome. This is really a blow. Your combat ability is already very strong. There is no need to compare with me, because you and I are in different environments and conditions. Yang Wuxuan is indeed the one with the strongest combat ability that Shu Han has seen in the outer courtyard. He should be at the top level among the younger generation. But no matter how hard he practiced in the mortal world, how could he compare with Shu Han's practice in the divine world, and the practice in the other world that specifically improved his combat ability and consciousness? Show your full strength, otherwise, you may not last more than 10 moves. Shu Han's eyes were serious, and the next second, the second soul ring emerged. God and demon body. Yang Wuxuan took a deep breath and planned to go all out. Second soul skill, penetration. The aura of the soul-breaking spear began to rise instantly, and the penetration power of the spear directly increased by 100%. Chapter 611. Fierce Battle. Shu Han, Liu Dao, and Xiao Xiao win the championship, but Yang Wuxuan's aura was still getting stronger. Soul-breaking spear intent. Boom. The terrifying red spear intent exploded around Yang Wuxuan's body. Spear intent, it is indeed the artistic conception of the weapon. Shu Han smiled, and finally got a little excited. Fuck. That's spear intent. It's actually spear intent. At such a young age, he has already comprehended the spear intent. Yang Wuxuan is incredible. Seeing this scene, many senior students and some teachers around were very surprised. Every weapon can comprehend the artistic conception. Those who use spears comprehend the spear intent, those who use knives comprehend the glow intent, and those who use swords comprehend the sword intent. In addition to the sword intent, it is actually very difficult for other weapons to comprehend the artistic conception. Because on this Douluo Continent, only the sword path is popular, and basically no one practices other paths. There are many sword masters, and those who practice the sword path also have opponents, or people who also follow the sword path, and discuss their understanding of the sword path in depth. Or it can be said that it comes from the guidance and instruction of the sword path predecessors. This is the advantage of swordsmanship, so it is very rare for other weapons to comprehend the realm of mind. In that case, I will use the sword intent to fight your spear intent. What? Sword intent? Could it be that Shu Han has comprehended the sword intent? Oh my god. In the shock of everyone, the next second, the terrifying sword intent on Shu Han's body was released. The last time he fought against the twin sisters Lan Susu and Lan Luo, although he used the sword intent, it was only activated for a short time, and it was actually performed in their martial soul fusion skills, so not many people knew about it. And this time, Shu Han really exposed the sword intent to everyone's vision. God and demon sword intent. The terrifying sword intent rose wildly. The sword intent. It's really sword intent. But some people thought it was normal. Shu Han's swordsmanship is so superb, it is expected that he has sword intent, but his sword intent should not be too strong. After this person said this, Shu Han's sword intent continued to soar, and many people in the academy have a basic understanding of sword intent. A teacher who also has a sword-type martial spirit exclaimed, "Intermediate peak sword intent. It's intermediate peak sword intent. It's even about to enter the level of advanced sword intent. What? Fuck. Fuck." At this moment, the whole audience was completely boiling, and there were constant exclamations. Is the level of entering the advanced sword intent so strong? Yang Wuxuan was also stunned. Come on, Yang Wuxuan, let me understand your gun intent. Shu Han's voice echoed, holding the magic sword and pointing forward. Aga! Look at the gun. Yang Wuxuan gritted his teeth, and his momentum and confidence returned again, and he became fierce. The two sides faced each other again. Bang! But this time, Yang Wuxuan was completely crushed. Ah! Yan Wishwang screamed and was instantly blown away by the terrifying sword intent formation. Wishwang. Second soul skill. The opponent's control-type Soul Master immediately attacked and held back Shu Han's attack again in a short period of time. Yan Wishwang came to his senses and immediately counter-attacked, but then he was completely beaten by Shu Han. Damn it. Yan Wishwang was in a difficult situation and immediately activated his soul skills. First soul skill, Shock. He first shook Shu Han away, and then immediately activated his strongest soul skill. Third soul skill, Explosion. First soul skill, Magic Sword Slash. Bang. Boom. Yan Wishwang shattered the Magic Sword Slash and stabbed Shu Han. At this time, Xiao Xiao also attacked. First soul skill, Cauldron Shock. Rest. Bang. The 3 lives Soul Shock Cauldron helped Shu Han block the attack, and Shu Han immediately counter-attacked and instantly killed Yan Wishwang. He and Yan Wishwang started another fierce close combat. Puff. 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 Ah, this guy is pretty crazy. Shu Han frowned slightly and shouted to the back. Yuao. Understood. Yuao nodded and finally took action. First soul skill, Spirit Sharing. And Spirit Detection. Yuao immediately activated his soul skills, and a powerful spiritual force was connected, which increased Shu Han's mental strength. In his eyes, all the actions of the opponent became clearer at this moment. Shu Han's fighting power seemed to increase instantly. Even Yan Wishwang, who had activated the Mad Dog style of fighting, was still no match at this moment. Puff. 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 Ah. Shu Han slashed 3 times in a row, completely injuring Yan Wishwang in one fell swoop. Yan Wishwang's face was pale. How could Shu Han's strength suddenly become, it's him? It's that one-ring Soul Master. Yan Wishwang then noticed a Yuao in the last row. It's over. The third soul skill, the Magic Sword Phantom. Countless clones went away and defeated the opponents Yan Wishwang, Yi Limling, and Chen Feng at the same time in an instant. The battle was over. Shu Han used the last third soul skill to kill 3 people in one move. The game ended. Too strong. It turns out that even I have such a huge gap with him. Yan Wishwang was helpless. Shu Han slowly walked in front of Yan Wishwang and stretched out his hand. You are the most promising person I have ever met. Work hard. I think you can become a top strong man in the future. This failure is nothing. It only means that you are not my opponent, not that you are too weak. Yan Wishwang was convinced and sighed in his heart. Alas. Then he stretched out his hand to grab Shu Han's palm and stood up with the help of force. I want to ask, did you use all your strength in this game? Yan Wishwang asked very concernedly. Shu Han told the truth. No, at most 60%. At most 60%, this. Yan Wishwang's head was buzzing, and he felt very stimulated. Hey, I understand. The freshman assessment is now complete. Chapter 612 Champions Reward. 8 months later, I declare that the freshman assessment is now over. The first place team of this freshman assessment is Shu Han's team. They are Shu Han, Yuao, and Xiao Xiao. Let us warmly congratulate them. Shu Han, Yuao, Xiao Xiao. Champions. 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 The scene cheered enthusiastically. We are the champions. Yes. We are the champions. Shu Han, Xiao Xiao, and Yuao all smiled at each other. Although it seems that this victory was relatively easy, this time is also a rare experience and memory for the 3 of them. The relationship and friendship between the 3 people also seem to have sprouted a special bond. After enjoying the joy brought by this championship, finally, it is time to award the prizes for this competition. The team that wins the freshman assessment will receive a 100-year soul bone. The soul bones will be freely distributed among the 3 of you. In addition, you will be rewarded with a soul ring. When you reach the conditions for absorbing soul rings, you can ask the academy to help you get a soul ring that is most suitable for you and that you can bear for the longest period of time. Finally, the champion team of the freshman assessment will directly obtain the qualification certificate to enter the inner courtyard. When you become a 5th-year student, you can be exempted from the inner courtyard assessment and directly join the inner courtyard to study. The champion will receive 3 rewards in total. A 100-year soul bone, a soul ring that helps you obtain, and a ticket to enter the inner courtyard to study as long as you are promoted to the 5th grade. This is enough to make most of the first-year students, and even the entire outer courtyard, envious of the reward. Although the 100-year soul bone is only 100 years old, as long as it is a soul bone, it is extremely rare and precious. Countless soul masters may not be able to get a 100-year soul bone. The second soul ring reward is also quite good, but many people don't really need this reward. After all, at least half of the students who practice in the Wuhan Hall Academy are second-generation souls. They can just absorb the soul ring and go back to find their families. The third reward is the entrance ticket to the inner courtyard. This is also extremely important. If the outer courtyard students want to enter the inner courtyard, they must at least be promoted to the 6th grade, but most of them cannot enter the inner courtyard from the 6th grade. It is difficult to enter the inner courtyard. Xu Han, Liu Dao, and Xiao Xiao can enter the inner courtyard as long as they are promoted to the 5th grade. How can the students not envy this? After the freshman assessment was over, Xu Han and the other two got their rewards and sat together to discuss the distribution rights of this soul bone. There is only one soul bone, but there are 3 of us in our team. How should this soul bone be distributed? Liu Dao said as he looked at the 100-year soul bone in front of him. Xiao Xiao thought for a while and said, in this freshman assessment, Xu Han's role and contribution are undoubtedly the greatest. The soul bone reward should be given to the person with the greatest effect. I think it's better to let Xu Han absorb it. Well, this 100-year soul bone should indeed belong to Xu Han, and this soul bone is not suitable for me. Liu Dao nodded. It was obvious that Xu Han led the assessment competition. Otherwise, they would never have won the championship. It should be given to the strongest person who contributed the most. Although he was also very tempted by this 100-year soul bone, Qian silkworm just told him that this soul bone was not suitable for him, and Qian also felt that the soul bone was too young. Qian silkworm said that he would find a way to get him some better soul bones. But how could Xu Han be interested in a 100-year soul bone? This soul bone is too young and I am not interested in it. Since you now doesn't want it, then I'll give it to you, Xiao Xiao. Xu Han said. Well, then I'll accept it. Thank you. Xiao Xiao was very happy when she got this 100-year soul bone. Although it is only 100 years old, it is still a soul bone. As long as it is a soul bone, it is hard to come by. It is a good thing to be able to absorb such a 100-year soul bone. Xu Han said. Although this piece of Kongming Demon Leopard's left leg bone is not very old, its effect is not weak. It can improve the speed of the Soul Master and also carries a speed-type soul bone skill. Its effect is not inferior to an ordinary 1,000-year soul bone. Xiao Xiao, make good use of it. Although soul bones have different levels of age, such as 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, and even 100,000 years. However, the strength and quality of soul bones cannot be judged entirely by age. It mainly depends on the effect of the soul bone and the attached skills. After all, the effects and skills attached to the soul bones produced by each kind of soul beast may be different. Among these skills, there may be very weak skills and effects, or even soul bones that do not improve the combat power of the soul master much. However, generally speaking, soul bones of 10,000 years will not have weak and useless soul skills, but between 100 years and 1,000 years, this situation often occurs. Well, I know, Xu Han, I will absorb it when I go back later. Xiao Xiao smiled warmly. After this freshman assessment, in addition to Xu Han, who had long been famous throughout the outer courtyard and the inner courtyard, Liu Dao and Xiao Xiao had gradually entered the student's sight and became famous in the outer courtyard. Even Xiao Xiao had been marked as a prospective student of the inner courtyard. As for Liu Dao, in fact, most of the students still didn't believe that he could enter the inner courtyard. Because if you want to go deep into the 5th grade, there are also great requirements. Although Liu Dao's combat ability has become very strong under Xu Han's training, his soul power level is still a flaw after all, and he is currently only a one-ring soul master. And there are also requirements for soul power for further study. As for Liu Dao's previous statement that he would surpass Huabin in 2.5 years, it had long been regarded as a joke by everyone and forgotten. But Liu Dao did not forget this matter. Not only did he want to surpass Huabin, he also wanted to be promoted to the 5th grade and become an inner courtyard disciple. Even the core disciple of the Wuhan Hall Academy. In the next period of time, Liu Dao began to sprint for his soul power level with all his strength, and followed Fan Yu and Clyde from the Soul Guidance Department to continue to study the abilities and knowledge of soul guides. Xu Han went straight into the inner courtyard and continued to challenge the students there, while looking for the son of luck that his father Chu Ye had mentioned when he descended to the mortal world. Time passed quickly, and 8 months later, Xu Han's soul power had reached level 38, and within 8 months he had defeated most of the inner courtyard students, leaving only the 5 strongest students. These 5 inner courtyard students were currently on a mission outside and had not yet returned. Shu Han could only wait for them to come back before challenging them. He stood alone on a high place in the academy, thinking silently, "Who is the son of luck that my father mentioned?" Chapter 613. The Deep-Sea Demon Whale King's wife, the Demon Queen, and his daughter, Lan Fua. I have fought almost all over this inner courtyard, but I have never seen anyone who has the potential to be called the son of luck by my father. In Shu Han's opinion, there are several basic conditions for being the son of luck. 1. Enough luck and opportunity to defy the heavens. 2. Strong enough cultivation talent and genius. 3. Enough outstanding strength, combat power and ability to challenge higher levels. But so far, Shu Han has not seen such a person in the Wuhan Hall Academy. He has an intuition and premonition that the son of luck mentioned by Chu Ye is in this Wuhan Hall Academy. If it is not in the inner courtyard, then it is in the core courtyard. Shu Han's eyes are locked on the deep part of the academy area, the core courtyard area close to the Pope's palace. Well, after I defeat all the inner courtyard students, I will go to the core member to take a look. Shu Han put his mind back and set off for the classroom. Today is the last class of this semester. After the class, there will be a month of vacation, so he still has to go to this last class. And in these 8 months, Liu Yao's soul power has just reached level 20. It can be said that in a whole year, Liu Yao's soul power increased from level 11 to level 20, 9 levels in 1 year. This speed is very amazing. Even Shu Han was very surprised. But now Shu Han will not associate Liu Yao with the son of destiny. In addition, Liu Yao has shown amazing talent in Soul Mentor. In just 1 semester, Liu Yao has already carved a 2nd level core array and become a 2nd level Soul Mentor. At this moment, in the classroom, the students of the 1st grade class have gathered, and Zhao Ye has also come to the classroom. She slowly said, "The courses of this semester have all ended for this class. You can get a month's vacation, but after the vacation, it will be the entrance examination. Whether you can become a qualified 2nd-year student depends on your assessment results. So, during this month's vacation, you should practice hard, understand?" "Great, it's finally time for me to implement my great plan," Qian Renxue said happily. Liu Yao asked in confusion, "Brother Qian, what plan are you talking about?" "I will take you to a place, but you can't tell anyone, including Shu Han," Qian Renxue's silkworm said. "Okay." At this time, Shu Han asked, "Yao, you should go to get a spirit ring during the next month's vacation. I happen to be free, and I don't need the help of the academy. I can find you the best 2nd spirit ring." "No need, Shu Han, I'm going to a place next." Liu Yao hesitated. "Really? Okay, then see you next semester." Shu Han saw the expression on Liu Yao's face and understood that Liu Yao had something difficult to tell. He didn't say anything more and turned to Xiao Xiao. "What about you, Xiao Xiao?" Xiao Xiao said playfully, "I plan to go back home." Just like that, on the 2nd day, Liu Yao, under the guidance of Qian Renxue's silkworm, set out alone to the far north to obtain the 2nd spirit skill and even the 2nd spirit ring. A month is not a long time. He must speed up and take the train to the nearest city in the far north directly to the Ice and Snow City. In less than 3 days, Liu Yao had already reached the edge of the far north. "Xiao Yao, with my powerful spiritual power, it will be easy to find that target we want to find. You don't have to worry about that." "Brother Qian, you haven't told me what our goal is yet. What kind of soul beast should I get a soul ring from? Also, what is the 2nd ice attribute martial soul you are going to give me?" Liu Yao asked curiously. "Don't worry, I will tell you slowly after we reach the core area of the far north." Qian Renxue's silkworm kept it a secret. Okay. Liu Yao began to go deeper and deeper into the far north. Protected by Qian Renxue's silkworm, he was not afraid of the extreme cold in the far north. With Qian Renxue's powerful spiritual power, he could avoid attacks from soul beasts in advance. After many days, he successfully passed through the outer area and arrived at the inner area, and continued to go deeper into the core area. The extreme cold in the far north is very terrible, especially the extreme cold in the core area. Ordinary soul masters would have been frozen to death if they came in. But under the protection of Qian Renxue's silkworm, Liu Yao could withstand the extreme cold. At the same time, Shura God, who had turned into Shura Demon Pit, had also begun to grow wildly. He kept practicing and devouring the energy of soul beasts. In order not to be noticed by the powerful beasts of Emperor Qian, God basically only moved in the inner area, and mainly hunted the man-faced demon spider and other evil soul beasts in the forest, and then regularly devoured several powerful soul beasts of tens of thousands of years. God did not dare to kill more, fearing that he would be discovered and killed by Emperor Qian. But God had begun to be unable to meet this growth rate, although the speed of its cultivation-based surge was already very amazing. In just about a year, Demon Pig's cultivation base had reached 55,000 years from the time when he awakened his past life memory and cultivated for 50,000 years. In 1 year, the cultivation base increased by 5,000 years. This speed can be described as extremely evil and terrifying. Perhaps in less than 10 years, will be able to break through the cultivation of 100,000 years, and then transform and cultivate again. By that time, will be confident that he will reach the peak of the 99th level, the limit of human soul masters, in 20 years. Peerless Luo. At the same time, in the distant sea area west of the Sunday and Moon Empire, a huge deep-sea demon whale was floating on the sea. In front of this 100-meter-long deep-sea demon whale, there was a ship. A woman stood on the ship, looking at the deep-sea demon whale calmly. "Daughter, are you really going to that continent?" asked the huge deep-sea demon whale. "Mother, I have decided that I must go to Douluo Continent. I will personally destroy the Wuhan Hall, the largest soul master force on that continent. Destroy the Wuhan Empire. Revenge for my father." The woman on the boat said very seriously, solemnly, and firmly. "Well, since you have decided to go, then Mother will definitely do her best to help you accomplish what you want to do," said the huge deep-sea demon whale. That's right, this huge deep-sea demon whale was the one that became Chu Ye's soul 10,000 years ago. It was the wife of the deep-sea demon whale king, the demon emperor, who was infinitely close to 1,000,000 years old. The demon emperor was currently at the peak of his 980,000 year cultivation, and it wouldn't be long before he reached 990,000 years. The woman on the boat was the daughter of the deep-sea demon whale king and the demon emperor, named Renxue, and her true form was also a deep-sea demon whale. Chapter 614. The story of the deep-sea demon whale king and the demon emperor. Time goes back to a long, long time ago. When the deep-sea demon whale king was still in that sea area, he was the king and hegemon. One day, the deep-sea demon whale king met a female deep-sea demon whale, which is now the demon king. Although the deep-sea demon whale clan is the most powerful sea soul beast in the sea, there are actually very few of them. At the same time, the deep-sea demon whale is also a kind of sea soul beast that relies on devouring other soul beasts to become stronger. In addition, before the deep-sea demon whale became a single dog, it was also possible to live with the family unless it had a family. There were multiple deep-sea demon whales. Therefore, there is generally no second deep-sea demon whale in the same sea area. After all, they will rob each other of resources when they are together. It is also more difficult to meet the same clan in the sea area, unless it is the estrus period and they want to find a mate. They will leave the sea area they rule and go to find other deep-sea demon whales, mate, and reproduce. At the time, the demon king came out to seek a mate, and he came to the sea area of the deep-sea demon whale king and was met by the demon whale king. Seeing the demon whale king's eyes lit up, because the demon king's appearance was also that top goddess type among all the deep-sea demon whales. The deep-sea demon whale king, who had been lonely for who knows how long, naturally became interested and wanted to hit the demon king hard, the martial soul fusion and power impact of the soul guide. As a result, the demon king looked down on the deep-sea demon whale king, because the demon whale king was blinded in one eye by the trident of the sea god Poseidon, and was a one-eyed whale. The demon king is not only the goddess level among the deep-sea demon whales, but her own cultivation and strength are actually very high, not much weaker than the demon whale king at the time. Therefore, the demon king's requirements for choosing a spouse are also very high. The demon whale king has a higher cultivation than her, and is stronger than her. The demon king does not particularly fancy those who are stronger than himself. Wouldn't it be better to find a demon whale that looks delicate and younger? Therefore, the demon king did not agree to mate with the demon whale king. But what kind of personality is the demon whale king? He is domineering, arrogant, and tough. He wants to get what he wants. Do you disagree? Okay, then I will force you. So, the demon emperor was put into a secret room by the demon whale king. He lost his whale membrane. He was taken away from his first time by the demon whale king. After being forced, the demon emperor was furious, but there was nothing she could do. She could only accept this one-eyed demon whale. But after getting along for a while, the Demon Emperor really didn't like him. It was also because of their incompatibility. Both of them had strong and overbearing personalities. So he decisively separated from the Demon Whale King and left alone to return to his former sea area. The Demon Whale King did not stop the Demon Emperor and let him leave. After this departure, the Demon Emperor never returned. Even when the Demon Emperor found out that she was pregnant with the Demon Whale King's child, she never went back to find that Demon Whale King. Later, the Demon Whale King and the Demon Emperor's child were born, and a female Demon Whale baby was born, which is now Lanfewer. The Demon Emperor raised his daughter himself until Lanfewer grew up from a newborn Demon Whale baby and cultivated to a cultivation level of 10,000 years. Lanfewer truly opened her spiritual wisdom and possessed a higher level of wisdom. One day, she asked the Demon Emperor, "Mother, do I have a father? Where is my father? I want to see my father." But the Demon Emperor did not want his daughter to find that Demon Whale King, but he could not persuade Lanfewer, so he finally decided to take Lanfewer to find that Demon Whale King once every 10,000 years. In this way, until 10,000 years ago in the present timeline, almost not long before the Demon Whale King became Chu Ye's soul, the Demon Emperor and Lanfewer came to visit the Demon Whale King once. As a result, not long after they got back together, the Demon Whale King was hunted and killed by Chu Ye, and the Demon Emperor and Lanfewer were still unaware of it. Until nearly 10,000 years later, 15 years before the present timeline, the Demon Emperor and Lanfewer came to find that Demon Whale King again, and found that the Demon Whale King was no longer there. After some inquiries, they still learned from humans. The Demon Whale King had died at the hands of a human 10,000 years ago. The human was named Chu Ye, from the Wooden Hall of Douluo Continent, and now he has ascended to become a god. Upon learning that her father, the Demon Whale King, was killed, Lanfewer was furious and sad. She secretly vowed to avenge her father. Although she could not kill Chu Ye, she would destroy the Spirit Hall. The Demon Emperor actually did not have much affection for the Demon Whale King. She did not care whether he died or not. But the daughter wanted to seek revenge for her father, and the Demon Emperor, as a mother, naturally could not sit idly by. Lanfewer knew that the human forces were very powerful, especially the Spirit Hall. Even if she cultivated for another 100,000 years, she would probably not be able to avenge her father. So Lanfewer decided to transform and cultivate again, and enter the human world to take a shortcut. But now in this era 10,000 years later, there are too many powerful people at the level of titled Douluo. Even there are several level 99 extreme Douluos. There is basically no way out for soul beasts to transform and cultivate again. It is easy to be discovered by the powerful titled Douluo and be hunted and killed in advance. Therefore, the Demon Emperor suggested that Lanfewer should not go directly to the mainland, but first cultivate on some islands near the sea around the mainland where humans live. In this remote island in the sea, except for the Sea God Island, other islands are very backward. There are no titled Douluo, and even soul saint level masters are rare. As long as Lanfewer practices on the island first and practices to level 60, basically even the purest Douluo will find it difficult to tell that she is a soul beast. So, under the protection of the Demon Emperor, Lanfewer found an island with human soul masters to live and practice. When she transformed, she was 6 years old in human form. She practiced for 15 years. Until now, Lanfewer, who was 21 years old in human age, has finally reached level 61 inches soul power. Now she can really go to Douluo Continent. Today, Lanfewer came to tell the Demon Emperor that she was going to the mainland. The Demon Emperor solemnly reminded, "Daughter, you can go to Douluo Continent, but don't enter the territory of Wooden Empire before you grow to the level of titled Douluo. Go to the Sun Moon Empire first. I heard that the Empire and the Wooden Empire are not friendly. Perhaps we can also use the Sun Moon Empire to eventually destroy the Wooden Empire." "I understand, mother." Lanfewer nodded. "Go, daughter, when the time is right, mother will also go out to sea to help you," the Demon Emperor said, and the huge whale body slowly dived into the water. Well, Lanfewer drove the boat to turn slowly, and then left this sea area. She went to Douluo Continent alone. After many days, she arrived at the continental plate of the Sun Moon Empire. With her amazing talent, she successfully joined the Royal Academy of the Sun Moon Empire to study. Lanfewer's next goal is to make a name and status in the Sun Moon Empire and gain a foothold in the human world. Chapter 615. The No Man's Land between the Wooden Empire and the Sun Moon Empire. Before her strength grows to the top title Douluo, she will not reveal her identity. At the same time, she also wants to see if the Sun Moon Empire has any idea of launching a war against the Spirit Empire. In other words, she wants to provoke the Sun Moon Empire and start a war against the Spirit Empire. Now the Demon Emperor, Lanfo, and Shura Demon Picture God have all started their own revenge plans. On the other hand, Shu Han, who was bored after a month of vacation, decided to go to the Sun Moon Empire place that he had never been to. When he was still in the mortal realm, the Sun Moon Continent had not yet collided with the Douluo Continent. At the time, the mortal realm where Shu Han was located only had the Douluo Continent. Now there is a new continent, and Shu Han is still quite curious. So, during this month's vacation, he plans to go to the Sun Moon Empire to see what's new about this big piece. Now the transportation on the mainland is very developed. Even from the Douluo Continent to the Sun Moon Empire, there are also trains that can go there, but it's very far, the toll is also very high, and you need to transfer stations in the middle. But Shu Han is not short of money, so he decisively bought a ticket, got on the train, and went to the Sun Moon Empire. Dong dong dong. The sound of the soul-guided train running at high speed on the rails, Shu Han sat in his seat, silently looking out the window to appreciate the scenery along the way, but he got tired of it. So he squinted his eyes and fell asleep. Even at the speed of the train, it would take several days to reach the Sun Moon Empire. Along the way, Shu Han either meditated or slept. Time flew by. After many days, the train had arrived at the last station. That is, the Sun Moon Continent and the Douluo Continent, where the two continents border each other. From here, you can directly reach the territory of the Sun Moon Empire, and even go directly to the Sun Moon City, the capital of the Japanese Empire. But Shu Han did not plan to continue riding the train. He planned to walk into the Sun Moon Empire. The staff at the terminal frowned when they saw Shu Han, a young boy, leaving the station alone, and hurriedly chased him. Hey! Little brother! Little brother! Where are you going? Shu Han stopped and said, to the Sun Moon Empire. Are you planning to walk there from this location? Is there any problem, uncle? Shu Han asked relentlessly. The staff kindly reminded him, little brother, I advise you not to do this. It's at least 100 kilometers from here to the nearest city in the Sun Moon Empire. This section of the journey is still very dangerous. It's okay in our Wihun Empire, but once you cross the area of our Wihun Empire and enter the Sun Moon Empire, it will be very dangerous. The public security of the Sun Moon Empire is much worse than that of our Wihun Empire. Hehe, thank you for your reminder, uncle. It's okay, I still want to walk over, sitting in the car is too tiring. Shu Han smiled and didn't care. The staff looked helpless and continued to persuade him, little brother, why don't you listen to my advice? Do you have no money on you? Well, if you have no money, I will pay for your ticket, but I am just an ordinary citizen who earns a dead salary to barely make a living. Uncle doesn't have much money, but at least I can help you pay for one stop of the fare so that you can pass this dangerous area. It's much safer if you transfer from here to the next stop, and you still have time to walk. As he said, the staff took out a purse from his pocket. This uncle is such a good person. Shu Han felt warm in his heart and smiled as he pushed away the money that the staff member was about to hand over to him. Then, he asked curiously, Uncle, no need, I have money on me, you don't have to give it to me. I'm very curious, is it really that dangerous to reach the nearest city in the Sun Moon Empire from here? Uncle, can you tell me about it in detail? The staff shook his head and smiled. Oh, I can see that you haven't been out much, right? Okay, I have nothing to do now, so I'll tell you about it in detail. 6,000 years ago, the Sun Moon Continent from the west collided with our Douluo Continent. Because of the collision of the two continents, huge waves and tides continued to sweep across the coastal areas of the two continents at the time. The coastal areas were completely uninhabitable, so the cities and residents along the coasts of the two continents at the time all moved away from the coastal areas. Later, a war between the two continental empires lasted for many years. After the war, the coastal areas of the Sun Moon and Douluo continents became a deserted area, and no one lived here at all. Over time, this area has almost become a no-man's land, with very few people living or even no way out. There are many criminals, even bandits, robbers, etc. in this area. Recently, I even heard that there are evil soul masters running rampant in this area. They are dangerous and cruel. We ordinary people all transfer to other places. How dare we go here? So, little brother, don't do anything stupid. Just transfer to other places honestly. After explaining, the staff persuaded again. There are actually evil soul masters. Shu Han was a little surprised. This was the first time he heard of evil soul masters since he came to the world. Of course there are. Our Wuhan Empire cracks down on evil soul masters. There are basically very few evil soul masters in the territory of our Wuhan Empire, but there are many in the Sunday and Moon Empire. The evil soul masters either ran to the Sunday and Moon Empire or hid in the Killing City. I see. Shu Han nodded silently. Now you know the danger and fear, young man. But Shu Han's face was not only not afraid, but even a little interested. Thank you, uncle, for telling me these things. This little soul coin will be my consulting fee. After speaking, a bag of money fell into the hands of the staff, and Shu Han disappeared beside him in an instant. Here. When the staff reacted, Shu Han had already disappeared from his sight. He slowly opened the purse left by Shu Han, and there was a golden light flashing inside. Fuck. 20 gold soul coins. Fuck. Did I meet a super rich second generation? Looking at the amount of money in the purse in his hand, the staff was stunned. Oh my god, did I get rich like this? 20 gold coins were thrown out casually. This must be a very rich person. Seeing Shu Han's speed, he also realized that Shu Han was most likely a soul master, and a very strong soul master, definitely not an ordinary person. He didn't know if Shu Han could hear him, but still shouted loudly. Little brother, have a good trip. 1 gold soul coin is enough for an ordinary family to live a normal life for a year, and 20 gold soul coins are 20 years. He never thought that he would save 20 years of struggle just for a kind reminder. Evil soul master, I heard my mother say. Chapter 616. First encounter with the evil spirit master. Evil soul masters, I've heard from my mother that they're a group of evil people who devour soul power, flesh and blood, and even souls. I wonder if I can meet some of them on this trip. Shu Han thought to himself and walked towards the road ahead alone. He walked for dozens of kilometers and finally passed through the territory of the Wuhan Empire and arrived in the territory of the Sunday and Moon Empire. As soon as he came in, he felt the gap between the two sides and a slight difference. As he continued to go deeper, although he did not encounter any danger, he could see some human bone marrow and bones from time to time. However, until he could pass through this lawless area in a few hours, Shu Han had not seen the so-called robbers, bandits, or even evil soul masters. Maybe I'm too lucky. Shu Han shook his head. At this moment, it was already late at night. Shu Han no longer moved forward and found a place to camp and make a fire. He planned to rest here for a night and set off again tomorrow. Little did he know that a hilltop nearby was the base of a group of evil soul masters. At this moment, 3 evil soul masters were coming back with a cart of children. These evil soul masters like to use the children's flesh and blood to practice evil souls. These children were trapped in the carriage cage, their mouths were blocked, and they could not ask for help. If they could not escape the evil soul master's clutches, they would not only die, but also die in a way that ordinary people could not accept. Now, even if these children had seen the fire in the distance, they could not scream. But these 3 evil soul masters began to commit suicide. The 3 of them frowned and said, how could someone make a fire in a place like this? Are they looking for death? The 3 of them looked at each other and immediately had murderous intentions. Let's go and take a look. The 3 pushed the carriage with children tied to it, and after approaching a distance, the 3 of them approached the woods where Shu Han had made a fire. They slowly approached closer and closer until they saw that there was only Shu Han in the fire, eating barbecue there, and he was still a young man. The 3 of them immediately laughed evilly. Ha ha, so you're a fool. This kid doesn't look that old, and he's still quite young. Why don't we take him back together? Well, let's take him back together, Hilly. The 3 evil soul masters licked their tongues and laughed evilly at each other. Then, they walked over without being cautious. The sound of the tree branches on the ground was soon noticed by Shu Han. He knew someone was approaching, but he still sat there calmly grilling and eating meat. Would you like to eat something? Before the 3 evil soul masters could say anything, Shu Han's voice had already sounded faintly. He could feel that these 3 people had murderous intentions and bad intentions, and even had a smell on them that made him very disgusted. Eat. But, we want to eat your flesh and blood, Hilly. Hilly. The 3 of them directly exposed their murderous intentions and madness, and laughed evilly. The evil energy on their bodies was emitting black mist, rising up unconcealed, their eyes were full of bloodshot, and their skin was faintly black. Eat me. Shu Han's face changed, and his eyes flashed with excitement. He stood up slowly and said coldly, so, you 3 are evil soul masters? Ha ha ha. What do you think, young man? you're really stupid. I have never seen you looking for death like this. It's okay to come to this area alone, and you dare to make a fire in the middle of the night. Aren't you afraid of getting yourself into trouble? The three evil soul masters laughed and saw that Shu Han was already looking at a prey. I really met an evil soul master. Shu Han turned around and looked at the three evil soul masters in front of him coldly. The magic sword had already appeared in his hand. Since you were an evil soul master, there is no need to talk nonsense. Come on, let me see if I am unlucky or unlucky. 3 rings of yellow, and purple appeared under his feet. Oh, you're already a 3-ring soul master at such a young age. It seems that you were a pretty good talent. Interesting, then your flesh and blood should be even more charming. Hectus. The 3 evil soul masters became even more excited when they saw this. Let's do it. Hectares. Okay. The 3 evil soul masters also released their martial souls, but they were all skeleton-like martial souls. Skeleton. Shu Han frowned. The evil and bloody smell after the other party released his martial soul became stronger. The 3 people in front of him were all 3-ring evil soul masters. 3-ring evil soul masters? I thought you were so powerful. Shu Han sneered when he saw this. Hectares. Young man, you know that we evil soul masters are much stronger than soul masters of the same level under the same soul ring, right? Huh. Oh? Really? Shu Han said lightly. Well, don't waste time talking to him. After you take care of this kid, take him back quickly. The adult will be waiting impatiently. Okay, kid, follow us obediently, haha. After that, the 3 evil soul masters rushed over frantically. Shu Han's face was cold, and he killed them instantly without hesitation. The first move of the God and Demon Sword technique, the Sun and Moon Demon God. Puff. The 3 evil soul masters screamed at the same time, and the next second, they were cut in half by Shu Han's sword. Stronger than soul masters of the same level? That's all. The 3 evil soul masters were killed instantly. Just now they said that the adult was waiting impatiently. It seems that there should be other evil soul masters nearby. Since I have encountered them, let's eradicate these pests together. Shu Han extinguished the fire source and was about to set out to look for them. But he heard the shouting of children in the distance. Help! Help! Among the children captured by the evil spirit master, there was a 7-year-old boy who was quite clever. He heard the evil spirit master's screams and judged that the evil spirit master must have met with something. Their chance to escape had come. So he immediately asked the other children to find a way to tear off the cloth on their mouths. Then he shouted for help. Huh. There are children. Shu Han ran over immediately and soon saw 4 children trapped in the cage. Brother! Brother! Save us! Don't be afraid, I will save you immediately. Shu Han said, and cut the wooden cage open with a sword. But at this time, a crisp and beautiful female voice sounded. Damn evil spirit master! Stay away from these children. A golden light came quickly from a distance. Shu Han looked carefully and saw a girl holding a long sword in the golden light. But he didn't have time to look more, and immediately blocked the children and swung his sword to block the girl's attack. Bang! The swords and strength of the 2 collided and suppressed each other, and they faced each other with eyes. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 617. Holy Angel Martial Spirit. Ye Gai. Shu Han instantly used his strength to push the girl away, and said calmly, You misunderstood, I am not an evil soul master, these children are also me. Before Shu Han finished speaking, the other party interrupted him. Don't quibble. You appeared in this place, and you are suppressing this group of children, and you still have the smell of an evil soul master, and you still say you are not an evil soul master. Who believes it? In this lawless area, a young man led a group of tied children, and Shu Han had just killed 3 evil soul masters, and his body was stained with a little blood of evil soul masters, and the smell of evil souls. So Shu Han did have the smell of an evil soul master on him at this moment. In this case, there was no way to argue, and the girl in front of him naturally would not believe Shu Han's words. Die. Evil soul master. Martial soul possession. The girl decisively released her martial soul, and a pair of golden wings grew behind her, and an angel appeared behind her. Heavenly angel. The angel martial soul behind Shu Han was stunned for a moment. This was the first time he had seen other types of angel spirits besides his mother Qian Renxue, his sister Qian Renxue, and the six-winged angel spirits. This also made Chu Han take a serious look at the girl in front of him for the first time. She had long golden hair draped over her shoulders and waist, big, watery eyes, delicate features, and a beautiful face. She was wearing a white dress, a pair of white stockings, and a pair of platinum high heels. She had a curvy figure, a thin waist, and a perfect body. Whether it was her figure or her face, she was a rare goddess-level beauty. She had a noble and sacred aura, and her white clothes were very clean, without a single stain, spotless. She was very beautiful. Perhaps because Chu Han had a good impression of angel spirits, he felt that the girl in front of him was more beautiful than Qian Renxue, who was known as the most beautiful girl in the outer courtyard of his Wooden Hall Academy. It was also because she was an angel spirit that Chu Han felt a sense of brightness for the first time. And this girl's name was Ye Gai. At this time, the angel girl had already held a sword in her hand and stabbed. Chu Han came back to his senses and also stabbed with a sword. Bang! The strength of both sides suppressed each other and was equal. You, an evil soul master, are quite interesting, but the three-ring soul master can still not be at a disadvantage when facing my holy angel martial soul with the holy light attribute. Ye Gai had a serious face, but was very surprised in his heart. Her holy angel martial soul has a rare sacred attribute and a light attribute. It has a strong restraining effect on all evil, and can also improve its own cultivation by purifying evil and resentful spirits. She can be said to be the absolute nemesis of evil soul masters. She was born to exist as an evil soul master. Not only will the combat power of evil soul masters be greatly reduced in front of her. After killing the evil soul master, she can also purify the evil and improve her own cultivation and soul power. So, at this moment, Chu Han was able to fight with her without being at a disadvantage, which surprised her. So I said, "I'm not an evil soul master, stop it, or don't blame me for being rude to you." Chu Han repelled Ye Gai again. At this moment, Ye Gai was a little shaken, but she did not rule out the possibility that Chu Han was an accomplice of the evil spirit master, or that he had not yet truly fallen. She did not stop her offensive, at least she had to control Chu Han and then conduct a thorough interrogation. Second soul skill, Holy Spirit Slash. First soul skill, Demon Sword Slash. The dark sword energy and the light sword energy collided with each other, evenly matched. But Chu Han's figure still attacked again, slashing from the side. Ye Gai was very confident in her fighting ability and used her sword to resist, but she did not expect that Chu Han's fighting ability was several times higher than hers. With a quick turn, Chu Han's magic sword was on her neck, and he had already come behind Ye Gai. "No, I'm careless." Ye Gai wanted to break free, but Chu Han saw this and directly pulled Ye Gai to his chest, with the sword tip at the edge of her neck, less than a centimeter away. The two bodies were tightly pressed together. "Don't move, otherwise my sword will hurt your neck." Chu Han stood behind Ye Gai and said coldly. You're pressing against me." Ye Gai bit her lip, blushing. Chu Han then realized that he was pressing against Ye Gai's soft buttocks. He immediately took a step back. "Sorry, but please calm down, I'm really not an evil soul master." At this time, the little boy finally spoke. "Sister. Brother. Stop. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Brother is really not an evil soul master, he is a good man, he saved us from the hands of the evil soul master." Chu Han glanced at the little boy and thought, "You finally have a mouth. Did you hear that? Can you dispel your doubts now?" Chu Han said to Ye Gai's pink ears. Ye Gai's body trembled slightly, and he couldn't help but make a very shy sound, and his face became even redder. Chu Han frowned. "What are you yelling?" Chu Han's very straight male question made Ye speechless. I. She said angrily. "You. Don't you know that the ear is a sensitive part of a girl? You are talking to my ear, Oh, I won't talk to you anymore, let me go. I know you are not an evil soul master, I won't do it again." Seeing this, Chu Han retracted the magic sword, and Ye Gai turned around. Her face had already turned red by Chu Han's previous few moves. She coughed awkwardly twice and calmed down. Then she looked at Chu Han carefully. He had short black hair, a black suit, holding a black magic sword martial spirit, and a stern look. He looked cool and cool. "He's quite handsome." Ye Gai muttered to himself. The boy was dressed in black and the girl was dressed in white, forming a sharp contrast between the two. One black and one white, standing together actually looked a bit matched. She quickly regained her composure and asked, The boy said that you saved them from the evil soul masters. Then, where are those evil soul masters? Shu Han helped the children untie the ropes on their bodies and responded, dead. Ye Gai also came to help and continued to ask, did you kill them all by yourself? How many evil soul masters was there and what level were they? They were all a bunch of small characters with 3 rings. Shu Han said. You were a 3-ring soul master, but you killed 3 3-ring evil soul masters alone. Ye Gai was very surprised when she heard this, because she knew very well that the methods of evil soul masters were generally much stronger than those of soul masters with the same soul ring. Killing 3 evil soul masters alone. The main thing is that he himself is only a 3-ring soul master. Chapter 618. The mysterious force that secretly cultivates evil soul masters. At this time, 2 more soul masters came from a distance. They were both Ye Gai's companions. Shu Han said bluntly, you send these children back to a safe place. I suspect there are still evil soul masters here. I want to go and look for them. There are still evil soul masters? Are you sure? Ye Gai asked. When I was fighting with those evil soul masters just now, one of them said this. Let's solve it quickly. That adult must be waiting anxiously. Shu Han said, and inferred. So I guess that the children captured by the 3 evil soul masters I killed just now should be given to the adult they mentioned. In this case, I will go with you to find other evil soul masters. As long as there is a trace of this group of bad people, we must do our best to destroy them. Ye Gai said seriously. Then he pointed to his 2 companions and said, you do send these children out first and help them find their families. He and I will eliminate other evil soul masters. Okay, Miss Yi, you must be careful too. We will notify the people in the alliance to come to support as soon as possible. The 2 nodded and left here first with the children. Ye Gai's holy angel martial spirit has absolute restraint on evil spirit masters. She is a 4-ring soul master, and her combat power is very strong. A 4-ring soul master can challenge a 5-ring soul master. In addition, with the restraint effect, Ye Gai is not afraid even when facing a 7-ring soul saint. And the truly powerful evil soul masters will not hide in such a place. They are more confident in Ye Gai. Then let's go together. Shu Han glanced at Ye Gai indifferently and agreed to her team. The 2 of them moved forward synchronously, a man and a woman walking alone in this remote and gloomy forest in the middle of the night. The atmosphere was very subtle, or it could be said that it was a little awkward. Because Shu Han hardly spoke. So Ye Gai took the initiative to find a topic and broke the silence. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ye Gai, and you? Shu Han. Shu Han replied. I'm curious, why are you here alone? This is the only route to the Sunday and Moon Empire. Shu Han said. You're actually from the Wuhan Empire. Ye Gai was a little surprised. Yeah. You're really brave. To go from the Wuhan Empire to our Sun Moon Empire, you can take a train at the border of the 2 empires to reach our Sun Moon Empire, but you actually chose to walk through here. You dare to walk with your strength of 3 rings. Aren't you afraid of dying here? This was the first time that Ye Gai met such a brave person. Shu Han did not explain to her. 3 rings. With his current level 38 soul power, if he goes all out, a soul saint may be able to kill him alone. Although the soul master group is much stronger than 10,000 years ago, it is not so easy to meet a soul Douluo and a titled Douluo level strongman. He is confident that he can pass through this unlawful area. Shu Han did not respond, but asked back. What about you? Why are you here again? I heard that there are evil soul masters causing trouble in the recent generation, so I came here. There is a town across this unlawful area. I learned that there have been many children missing there recently, so I came here to find out about this. Unexpectedly, it was really done by an evil soul master. Are there really many evil soul masters in the Sun Moon Empire? Shu Han asked again. Of course there are more than your Wuhan Empire. The Sun Moon Empire is actually not that bad. There are not as many evil soul masters as you might imagine, but in recent years, the number of evil soul masters has suddenly increased. According to our investigation, there seems to be a mysterious force in the Sun Moon Empire that is secretly cultivating the evil soul master group. Ye Gai said with a serious face. A mysterious force that secretly cultivates evil soul masters? Are they crazy? Do you know who this force is? Shu Han's face also changed, and he asked seriously. I don't know, and we are just guessing. We haven't confirmed this yet. Ye Gai shook his head. Okay. While the 2 were communicating, they were moving towards a mountain top, and they were also approaching the base of this nest of evil soul masters. The two climbed over mountains and ridges, intending to approach at the top of this mountain. They climbed all the way up. The mountain wall was very steep, but the two are not slow, almost jumping up quickly. Although Ye Gai's holy angel martial spirit has the ability to fly, he still chose to climb on foot, because her martial spirit has a golden light, which is very obvious in the dark night. If she alarms the evil spirit master, it will always be a disadvantageous situation. At this time, Ye Gai suddenly stepped on empty air and was about to fall down. Shu Han's figure flashed in an instant. He first grabbed Ye Gai's jade hand, then quickly hugged her waist and put her steadily in his arms. Ye Gai's chest was tightly pressed against Shu Han's chest. The surging squeeze, the two were tightly together, and at that moment, Ye Gai also subconsciously hugged Shu Han's waist. Feeling Ye Gai's chest against him, Shu Han's face changed drastically. He was not interested in women, but this time, he suddenly had a special feeling. It was the first time for Ye Gai to have such close contact with a boy. The most shy thing was that she was pressing Shu Han, which made her very shy. This was also that first time for Shu Han to have such close contact with a girl, and he could still clearly feel the soft wind. One of them looked up at the handsome and cold boy in front of him, and the other looked down at the beautiful and moving girl in his arms. The two of them were facing each other, and the distance between their faces was about the distance of a fist. Their heartbeats seemed to speed up at the same time. Boom, 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 they both heard each other's heartbeats. The two looked at each other for several seconds, and shyly moved their eyes away at the same time. Shu Han said with a hint of embarrassment, you, be careful. Ye Gai blushed slightly and nodded gently. Well I know. Shu Han slowly let go of Ye Gai, and the two continued to climb up. Soon they reached the top of the mountain and found a large number of footprints here. There are footprints. Judging from the details of the footprints, they should have been left not long ago. The base of the evil soul master may not be far from here. Shu Han slowly stood up. Looking around the surrounding environment, he used the environment to analyze the distance and possible hidden points. He soon found a lush green grass on the left side, which was already higher than a normal human. Let's go over here and take a look. Okay. The two walked towards the green grass. The grass was very dense and the vision was blocked. If they encountered an enemy in it, they might be killed without knowing it. Follow me closely. Shu Han took the initiative to pull Ye Gai's arm. Chapter 619. After finding the evil soul master's stronghold, Shu Han and Ye Gai teamed up to kill him. Shu Han did not hold hands, but only held Ye Gai's elbow, maintaining a sense of propriety. Ye Gai did not feel disgusted when being held, and even felt a little favorable towards him. Shu Han held her elbow like this, and for some reason, she felt very safe, although she did not seem to need Shu Han's protection. The two of them walked through the green grass. Suddenly, they saw a cave in front of them. It's a cave. It seems that the base of these evil soul masters is in this cave. Do you dare to fight with me? Shu Han asked. Ye Gai also had a fearless personality. What's there to be afraid of? It's just that you were a three-ring soul master. I'm afraid you will ask me to retreat. Don't worry about that, as long as you can take care of yourself. Shu Han rolled his eyes, and then said seriously. At present, we don't know how many evil soul masters are there, and we don't know how strong they are. If there are any who are stronger than the soul center level, we will evacuate immediately. I am confident that I can escape unscathed if they are below the soul Douluo level. Really? Looking at Shu Han's confident words, Ye Gai had some doubts in his heart. After all, a three-ring soul master can easily kill anyone at the soul center level, not to mention a seven-ring evil soul master. But Shu Han said that as long as he is not a soul Douluo level strongman, he can escape unscathed. Who can have such confidence and ability when he is at the third ring? But after some doubts, Ye Gai believed Shu Han's words. She said, well, I'm almost there too. As long as we don't encounter a soul Douluo level strongman, it's fine. Then let's just go in and kill these evil soul masters. Kill them. Ye Gai said seriously. Let's go. The two of them, each holding a sword, actually went straight to the cave. There was an evil soul master guarding the cave, but the evil soul master was leaning against the stone wall, closing his eyes and sleeping lazily. Ye Gai made a gesture to Shu Han to keep quiet. Shu Han understood instantly and made an okay gesture. The two began to approach cautiously. Soon, Shu Han and Ye Gai had quietly arrived in front of the evil soul master. Ye Gai smiled playfully and said, Hey, are you sleeping? Huh. The evil soul master opened his eyes instantly and saw the unfamiliar Chu Ye in front of him, and immediately felt that something was wrong. But before he could even scream, Chu Ye pierced his chest with a sword. Puff! Ugh! The evil soul master's eyes widened and he slowly fell to the ground. Let's go. The two of them rushed directly into the cave. This cave was not long. After walking less than 30 meters, they had already reached the main space. Before they entered, it was filled with a foul smell and a strong smell of blood. But when Chu Ye arrived at the main space in the cave, the evil soul masters in the space had already noticed it. There were 7 people in total. 6 of them were soul masters and soul sects of the 3rd and 4th rings, and 1 of them was a soul saint of the 7th ring. I didn't expect this base to be discovered so quickly. You guys are really useless. The soul saint evil soul master said with an unhappy face. He knew that this place could no longer be used. At this moment, Chu Ye had already entered the main space, hostile to the evil soul masters in front of them. In the main space, there were at least more than 10 human skeletons. The whole space was filled with a foul smell and blood. There was a tripod in his heart. The bloody and disgusting smell from the cauldron was the strongest, and they had guessed what this thing was used for. Chu Han knew that this group of evil soul masters had killed at least dozens of people in this place, and the bloody and smelly cauldron was probably. Chu Han was inexplicably angry when he thought of this. It was also that first time that he deeply realized the cruel methods of evil soul masters and what would happen to those who were killed and caught practicing evil soul methods. Chu Han said with murderous intent, "You really deserve to die. You evil soul masters, don't even think about escaping today." Ye Gai no longer had the kind of nascent anger, and she had already faced evil soul masters more than once or twice. Ha 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 ha. I thought there were so many people coming, but it turned out to be just 2 little kids. You 2 teenage boys and girls dared to come here to kill us. You are so bold and ignorant. The soul saint evil soul master saw that there were only 2 young people, and he immediately became disdainful. In his opinion, they were just young people who came to seek death. All of you, go ahead and kill them. Yes, sir. The 6 evil soul masters were very obedient. They all released their evil martial spirits and rushed towards Chu Ye. At this moment, Chu Ye slowly raised their swords and released their sword intents at the same time in tacit understanding. God and demon sword intent. Angel sword intent. The terrifying sword intents of the 2 rose at the same time, and both were intermediate peak sword intents. He actually has sword intent and is on par with me. She actually has sword intent and is on par with me. The 2 were surprised at the same time and said the same thing, but they did not pay too much attention to each other. They each attacked the evil soul master in front of them with 1 move. The first move of the God and Demon sword technique, the Sunday and Moon Demon God. The second soul skill, the Holy Spirit slash. Bang. Boom. Puff. Ah. The 2 of them used the same move at the same time, and instantly killed all 6 3-ring and 4-ring soul masters and soul lords. The Sunday and Moon Demon God used by Chu Han was a sword skill that his father Chu Ye had learned and created. Even if it was only the first move, its power was amazing. And Ye Gai's martial spirit had the power to restrain evil spirit masters. The power of her second soul skill was also terrifying for evil spirit masters. These evil spirit masters were unable to stop them at all and died instantly in 1 move. What? How is this possible? The evil spirit master's face changed drastically when he saw this. He was immediately panicked and looked at Ye Gai with fear. You are Ye Gai from the Ordinary League. The girl with the Holy Angel martial spirit. Ordinary League? Chu Han muttered in his heart. You actually know me? Ye Gai frowned. Could it be that she has become famous among the evil spirit masters in the past 2 years since she started to punish evil spirit masters? Oh, that's fine. Your martial spirit is the biggest threat to us evil spirit masters, and you came just in time. Today, we will eliminate you in advance. We will never have any more trouble. And you, a 3-ring kid who doesn't know your place. Let's die together. The evil soul energy on the opponent's body began to rise crazily, and under his feet, 7 rings of yellow, purple, black, and black all appeared. Chapter 620 The difference between him and the useless Yushiagang in front of Yuan. A red ghost appeared behind the evil soul master, or a demon. A 7-ring soul saint. Chu Han and Ye Gai frowned at the same time. Soul Douluo and the others couldn't deal with it. Soul saints could almost fight, but there was a certain risk. Soul emperors could basically handle it with a high degree of confidence. Let's die together, young people who don't know how to live or die. A terrifying evil soul force swept over. Shu Han and Yi Gai tried to resist at the same time, but the force was suppressed. Yi Gai's face was solemn. She felt that the evil soul master in front of her was not only of a high level of soul power, but also completely different from the one she had encountered before. Shu Han, this evil soul master is not simple, you must be careful. You too. Bang. Boom. The energy wave exploded. Shu Han and Yi Gai stabbed the evil soul master with a sword on both sides at the same time. Here. You're looking for death. The evil soul power seemed to be integrated with him, making his soul power level even stronger. The two sides spread out and directly blocked the swords of Shu Han and Yi Gai. Get out. Bang. Boom. Shu Han and Yi Gai were knocked away at the same time and hit the stone wall. Die. Hissing teeth. The red ghost behind the evil soul master split into two, one on each side to kill the two. Shu Han and Yi Gai used swords at the same time to resist the red ghost's bite, and then kicked the red ghosts in front of them at the same time. The two started fighting with them, and were quickly killed by Shu Han and Yi Gai. But at this time, the soul-sent evil soul master had already taken action himself and was the first to kill Yi Gai. First soul skill, magic sword slash. Shu Han supported with a sword. Shu. Bang. Although the opponent avoided the attack, he also successfully interrupted the evil soul master's offensive. Yi Gai immediately took action and swung his sword to stack the soul-sent evil soul master. Shu Han caught up with him from behind and attacked at the same time. The two began to besiege the evil soul master together and started a fierce battle with him. You two want to fight me head-on, you're just courting death. The evil soul master was very disdainful, confronting Shu Han and Yi Gai head-on, completely despising the enemy. In just a few moves, Shu Han showed his amazing fighting ability. He sneered, and at that moment, he had already stacked the evil soul master's thigh. Puff. Ah! The magic sword pierced deeply into the evil soul master's leg, causing him great pain. Here, you're the one who's looking for death, right? Shu Han sneered, instantly drew out the sword, and swung it at the opponent's neck. How is it possible? The evil soul master was terrified at that moment, and the sword was almost only a few minutes away from his neck. This kid, his fighting ability is so strong. The evil soul master panicked at that moment, and quickly did a few backflips to distance himself from him, and was still in shock. So powerful. Yi Gai was also amazed by Shu Han's fighting skills just now. But she did not indulge in it. She took advantage of this opportunity to activate her soul skills. First soul skill, holy light shines everywhere. In an instant, the light of the sacred power enveloped the dark and gloomy cave. Damn. What a disgusting light. The evil soul master covered his eyes. After the holy light shone everywhere, the evil soul master's power seemed to be gradually purified, and his evil soul power began to decline and weaken. Die. You must die. The evil soul master's killing intent was completely aroused. Seventh soul skill, blood red ghost true body. Ha 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 ha. The red ghost behind him suddenly became extremely huge, and the ghost's martial spirit even made an evil and creepy laugh. The next second, it seemed to have life and wisdom, and it could also break away from the evil soul master like a combination and fight independently. Kill them. The huge red ghost flew over. The martial spirit seemed to have life and wisdom. Such a weird situation was the first time that Shu Han and Yi Gai had seen it. But Shu Han had heard from his father Chu Ye that 10,000 years ago, there was a waste of half-level innate soul master named Yu Xiaogan, who was a kind of martial soul with wisdom. Sixth soul skill, blood ghost power. Ha! The evil soul master released his soul skill again, and injected a large amount of evil soul power into his red ghost martial soul. The red ghost became bigger, and his originally thin limbs suddenly began to expand several times rapidly, and his muscles were even more violent. It looked like a big muscle ghost, very fierce. And this evil soul master fought through the martial soul, and all his soul skills were also used against the martial soul. At this moment, this blood red ghost has been strengthened to a very terrifying level, and this terrifying level of power is enough to compare with the soul duo level strongmen. Tear it up. The blood ghost roared and began a fierce attack. Bang bang bang. In the large space of the cave, it was crazy and bombarded, both in speed and power was very powerful, exceeding the level that Shu Han and Yi Gai could handle. Plus, the place was small, so there was not much space to dodge or maneuver. Shu Han and Yi Gai were at a disadvantage in an instant. The next second, Yi Gai was accidentally hit hard by the blood ghost. Bang. Okay, then I'll create an opportunity for you. Ye Gai nodded and mobilized his soul ring again. Third soul skill, Divine Light Praise. Another huge attack of divine attribute power enveloped him. Shu Han seized the opportunity and rushed directly to the blood ghost. When he was about to attack the blood ghost, Shu Han suddenly activated his third soul skill. Third soul skill, Magic Sword Phantom. 49 clones appeared in the cave space at the same time, occupying every angle of the space. When the blood ghost and the evil soul master thought that Shu Han would attack the blood ghost, the many phantom identities immediately made the evil soul master understand Shu Han's intention, but it was a little late to guard against this. A large number of clones almost killed the evil soul master's body. This kid. The evil soul master finally showed some panic on his face, but when he found Shu Han's body, Shu Han's sword had already attacked. Chapter 621. Senlo Array, Sun and Moon rotating, instantly killed the evil soul master. Puff. The evil soul master dodged as much as possible, but it was too late. Although he avoided the fatal part, Shu Han still cut off one of his arms. My arm. Damn you. You cut off one of my arms. Damn it. I want you to die miserably. The evil soul master was completely furious and took action. Kill them. Kill them for me. Tear it up. The blood ghost seemed to have entered a violent state, and attacked Shu Han and Ye Gai at the same time as the evil soul master. They both had their own intelligent martial souls, and their soul skills and other abilities were all displayed through their martial souls, but the difference between the evil soul master in front of him and that useless Yushiagan was that his martial soul was powerful. And the evil soul master himself also had a strong fighting ability. In an instant, Shu Han and Ye Gai were beaten by each other and had almost no defense. Bang. Puff. Agar. Shu Han was blown away by the blood ghost's punch, and Ye Gai was also beaten back by the evil soul master. The two of them spit out blood at the same time. Their bodies hit the stone wall of the cave hard. Ha. So what if I have the power to suppress the evil spirit master's sacred attributes? And you, a 3-ring kid, are really a top genius. If time passes, you may become a titled low-level warrior, but so what? Today, you'll still die in my hands. Ha. The feeling of killing a genius is really exciting. You'll have to die. The evil spirit master stood next to the blood ghost, laughing wildly and excitedly, with an evil smile on his face. Ye Gai and Shu Han. The two of them supported each other and got up with difficulty. While the evil soul master was still laughing excitedly, Ye Gai had secretly transmitted his soul power to Shu Han. Shu Han, my 4th soul skill can temporarily hold him back. Let's evacuate immediately. We can only wait until the people in our alliance meet up before considering finding this evil soul master and eliminating him together. Ye Gai had already intended to retreat, but when he heard that Ye Gai could temporarily hold the other party back, Shu Han's fighting spirit doubled. I still have my strongest move to use. I am 70% sure that I can kill the blood ghost and this evil soul master with one sword, but it will take a certain amount of time to accumulate power. If you can hold them back temporarily, I think we can still try. Shu Han is not a person who gives up easily. He doesn't want to give up and escape until he is at the end of his rope and has no other choice. And he also knows that once they escape, when they meet up with the people of Ye Gai's ordinary alliance to kill him, this evil soul master may have already fled. It may be impossible to find and kill him again. 70% sure. But if we fail, it will be very difficult for us to leave. Ye Gai's face was solemn, hesitating in his heart. Because this means that if he can't kill, he will be killed. This is my choice. Of course, you have your choice, and I won't force it. After all, Shu Han is not alone now. He dares to gamble and try, but if he fails, it means the lives of 2 people. Therefore, Shu Han will respect Ye Gai's choice. Okay. Then let's try again. Ye Gai gritted his teeth and made a prompt decision. Frank. Ye Gai did not hesitate, and his decision was very decisive, which made Shu Han like him twice as much. The two are ready to fight back again. At this time, the evil soul master was still laughing excitedly and mocking. Boy, stinky girl, are you ready to face the fear of death? Ha. 2 ignorant boys. You'll die in despair. Die. As the evil soul master's last voice fell, the blood ghost suddenly exuded a strong evil soul power, intending to devour Shu Han and Ye Gai with one blow. Evil cannot prevail over good. The evil power will be destroyed by light. The 4th soul skill, the Holy Light Spirit Array. In an instant, a golden array appeared on the ground of the entire cave space. The lines of the array gathered the power of the sacred attribute. In an instant, the sacred golden light rose, trapping the blood ghost and the evil soul master in it. Chu Han, it's up to you. Chu Han took a deep breath and slowly closed his eyes. Although he had learned this move, he was not proficient enough and could not really master the power of this move easily. Therefore, he needed a period of preparation and concentration before he could use it. He could not use it at any time and quickly like Chu Ye. You want to stop me with this broken array? Break it for me. Bang, bang, bang. The blood ghost attacked Ye Gai's holy light array frantically. Ye Gai's soul power continued to output to maintain the holy light array, and her soul power began to drain rapidly. Chu Han. Hurry up. Ye Gai's face was a little anxious. At this moment, Chu Han was surrounded by a huge sword intent of gods and demons. He concentrated his energy and devoted himself to it, as if he had reached a state of selflessness and merged his spirit with the sword intent. The next second. In an instant, the sword intent spread out and covered the whole scene. The surrounding illusion seemed to change instantly and appeared in a huge forest. In the sky, the sun and the moon were alternating and rotating. Sometimes it was daytime, sometimes it was night. Following this, the power of the sun and the moon began to merge into Chu Han's body frantically. What's going on? The evil soul master in the light array had already felt the breath of death, as well as the fear and horror of the power exuded by Chu Han. Ye Gai was also completely shot and stunned. What a powerful swordsmanship skill, so amazing, powerful and shocking, too powerful, Senlo formation, sun and moon rotation. The second style of the god and demon swordsmanship, god and demon killing god slash. At this moment, Chu Han finally swung his terrifying sword. When the spirit formation was about to be broken, he shattered the spirit formation with one sword, and instantly killed the blood ghost and the evil soul master together. Ah, no. The terrifying power swept away, and the blood ghost was instantly destroyed on the spot. The evil soul master was also cut in half in an instant, and died tragically in one move. The remaining power bombarded the stone wall of the cave. With a loud rumbling sound, the cave was on the verge of collapse. It's terrible. It's too strong. Chu Han actually mastered such a powerful swordsmanship skill. Who is he? And what kind of master is he? At this moment, Chu Han was full of mystery in Ye Gai's eyes. A mysterious man made her extremely curious and wanted to know about Chu Han's mysterious power and background. Who? Chu Han was also panting heavily. This second sword consumed a lot of his energy. He slowly walked towards the dead evil soul master and found a token inside his clothes. Chapter 622. Life and Death. Chu Han and Ye Gai escape at the critical moment. Chu Han immediately picked it up and took a careful look. He had never seen it before, but there was a keyword on the back of the token, the word holy. Holy? Chu Han frowned slightly. Generally speaking, the Empire, the sect, the Soul Master family, and the Soul Master Force will have their own tokens and warrants, representing the position and identity of this person in this force. At the same time, generally only people with a higher status in the force have them. This evil Soul Master has this kind of token, which shows that he also belongs to a certain force. Then, in the force where the evil Soul Master exists, there must be a large number of evil Soul Masters. In other words, this is the force of an evil Soul Master. Through this token, it is possible to find and eliminate more evil Soul Masters, and even evil Soul Master organizations and forces. He immediately put the token away and waited to show Ye Gai if he had seen it, and then continued to prepare to search the evil Soul Master's body to see if he could find other clues. But at this time, the cave was about to collapse. Boom. Not good. The cave is going to collapse. Chu Han, let's go. Ye Gai shouted weakly. Let's go. Chu Han turned around and left without delay. But she suddenly found that Ye Gai had already collapsed on the ground, looking at Chu Han in a very delicate and panicked manner. Chu Han. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the main space had begun to rumble, and Chu Han was already in a very bad state. If he picked up Ye Gai and ran out at this moment, he would most likely be drowned, unable to escape from the collapsed cave, and eventually die together in it. Ye Gai. But Chu Han rushed towards Ye Gai without hesitation. Looking at the man who ran towards her without hesitation in this extremely dangerous and even death situation. At this moment, Ye Gai seemed to have no fear at all, and there was only Chu Han in his eyes. Don't be afraid, I'll take you out. Princess Chu Han picked up Ye Gai, held her gently in her arms, and then rushed out of the cave at the fastest speed. "Don't be afraid, I'll take you out." Ye Gai savored the word for a long time. Ye Gai was held in Shu Han's arms, her hands around Shu Han's neck, her eyes fixed on Shu Han's face. Seeing Shu Han sprinting with all his might, feeling the temperature of Shu Han and the smell of a man, as well as the sweat on his face dripping on her body. Feeling Shu Han's sweat dripping on Ye Gai's own collarbone, the sweat slowly flowed down from the collarbone to her chest, even to that, boom boom boom. So charming, I love it so much. At this moment, Ye Gai's heartbeat quickened, her heart palpitated, as if a little deer was running around like crazy. She completely fell. She found that she had completely fallen in love with this boy who was 3 years younger than her. This boy, who had only met once, and even had contact for less than a few hours, had already left an extremely important place in her heart. Boom boom boom. The cave had begun to collapse crazily from the inside out, and it was even about to drown Shu Han and Ye Gai. "Shu Han, don't be afraid. We won't die here. I will definitely take you out. Hold me tight." "Yeah." Ha. Shu Han ran madly. At this moment, he burst out with an unprecedented speed, and even felt that his legs were about to be useless. He was in pain, soreness, and even his muscles were cramped. But he never slowed down, but got faster and faster. Crazy burst. Just when the entire cave was about to collapse, Shu Han burst out with the last bit of strength, and jumped up, almost in a few tenths of a second. Shu Han and Ye Gai successfully jumped out of the cave. Bang boom boom. The next second, the entire cave was completely blocked. Shu Han hugged Ye Gai tightly in his arms, covering her head with both hands to protect her, and their bodies entangled and torn together. Shu Han's body fell to the ground first, and the two hugged each other, tore each other, and rolled on the ground. Because it was a slope, the two of them rolled for dozens of meters in each other's arms before they stopped. That was close. We finally got out. If I had died here, my dad would definitely hate me and scold me. Shu Han thought helplessly. He was not thinking about how sad Chu Ye and Qian Renxue would be if he died, but that he would bring shame to his parents. After all, his father and mother were both god kings. As the son of a god king, it would be fine if he died in the mortal world, but if he died at the hands of an evil soul master at the soul center level, he would really feel ashamed. "It's okay, we are safe, Ye Gai, get off me." At this moment, Shu Han spread his hands, lying flat on the ground with a weak face, gasping for breath. At this moment, Ye Gai was sitting on Shu Han's body with her legs spread out. She did not leave Shu Han's body immediately, looking at Shu Han under her with a moved and blushing face. Seeing that Ye Gai was unmoved, Shu Han turned his head to look at Ye Gai on his body, and found that Ye Gai was looking at him with her big eyes, with a slightly soul-stricken expression. He then realized that Ye Gai was lying on him in a very shy posture. Shu Han was instantly shy. Facing Ye Gai's straight eyes, he swallowed his throat. He didn't know what kind of feeling he had in his heart, but for some reason, his heart was very fast. He looked at Ye Gai and stuttered when he spoke. Why are you looking at me like this?" Seeing the sexy Adam's apple that only men have when Shu Han speaks, Ye Gai is even more lost at this moment. Both of them were beating their hearts. "Shu Han." Ye Gai suddenly raised her hips slightly and leaned forward. Her face was right above Shu Han's face. At this moment, their faces were very close. They could clearly see each other's breathing. "Ye Gai, what are you doing?" Shu Han said nervously. But the next second, Ye Gai couldn't help but put his hands gently on Shu Han's face, and kissed him directly, sealing Shu Han's lips tightly. Shu Han's eyes widened, and at that moment, his body and legs seemed to be electrocuted, and they straightened instantly. Their lips kissed each other, and Ye Gai closed his eyes, immersed in it. Shu Han's eyes widened, looking at Ye Gai's beautiful face, clearly feeling the temperature and the thin touch of Ye Gai's lips. His heart seemed to be touched, and he froze in place for a while. His mind was blank. He lost his first kiss, and was kissed by a woman. Chapter 623. Ye Gai forcefully kissed Shu Han. Difficult. The previous chapter is under review. Ye Gai also lost his first kiss, which was also that first time for him. Shu Han felt that he was violated. He wanted to push away, but he had no strength. But when he wanted to push away, he was reluctant and wanted to last longer. When Shu Han was struggling in his heart, Ye Gai had already opened his eyes. She slowly let go of Shu Han's face with both hands, and her lips slowly left Shu Han's lips. She looked at Shu Han with extremely hot eyes, breathing very fast, her chest heaving slightly, and her face was already very red. although she kissed him bravely. But at this moment, she was also very shy, coquettish, and even embarrassed. But her eyes were still looking at Shu Han, without avoiding. She was expecting and waiting for Shu Han's response, because this kiss had already shown her feelings for Shu Han. "What's wrong with your kiss?" But at that moment, Shu Han's brain was disconnected. Although Shu Han's response was not what Ye Gai wanted, she suddenly covered her mouth and smiled, then said very seriously and gently, "Thank you, you didn't abandon me in such a dangerous situation just now, but chose to take me out of the cave. Thank you, Shu Han." The collapse of the cave just now was very extreme. It can be said that if it was a second later, you would die inside, and it was a matter of life and death. In such a critical situation, between such a life and death, there may not be many people who have the courage to hug others and escape together. This is enough to show that Shu Han is a trustworthy person. "So, you kissed me to thank me?" Shu Han said. "Unless you like it, how can a girl give her kiss to a boy she doesn't like in order to thank others?" Ye Gai muttered in his heart. Gratitude, at most a hug, a kiss on the face, kissing lips, this kind of behavior is basically not done by people who don't like it. But Ye Gai said, it can be gratitude, or it can be not. Shu Han heard that even if he was slow in emotions, he thought of the matter between men and women. He was confused. He found that this woman had disturbed his sword path. If there was no woman in his heart, he would naturally draw the sword and follow that path of God. He seemed to understand that at this moment he seemed to be moved by this girl, by Ye Gai. In the God realm, the voice and words of the first sword god seemed to echo in his ears. "Shu Han, have you given up sex? Shu Han, remember. Women will only affect the speed at which you become stronger. Shu Han, when you have not yet reached the height and realm you want, it is best not to be tied down by feelings. Shu Han. Shu Han. Shu Han." Shu Han shook off the words of the first sword god in his mind, and he looked at Ye Gai again, no matter what. He and Ye Gai had only known each other for less than a day. Even if he knew that he seemed to be a little moved, he would not rashly start a relationship with her. Shu Han understood what Ye Gai said, and he said, "Okay, get off me first." And Ye Gai blushed and responded gently. She actually didn't want to progress so quickly, although she was sure in her heart that Shu Han was the man she wanted to possess. "Help me up." Okay. Ye Gai quickly stood up, then pulled Shu Han up and held his arm to support him. Shu Han then took out the token he had just found from the evil soul master of souls and from his pocket and handed it to Ye Gai. "Look, have you seen this kind of token? I found it from the evil soul master just now." Ye Gai took the token and looked at it carefully. Saint. She also saw the word Saint on the token, but she had never seen this kind of token. Ye Gai shook her head. "I haven't seen it, but having this kind of token undoubtedly proves that this evil soul master belongs to a certain force, or a force full of evil soul masters." "Yeah, that's what I think." Shu Han nodded. "There is also a possibility that this evil soul master is related to the force that secretly cultivates evil soul masters in the Sun Moon Empire as we speculated. This is an important information that I can take back to the Alliance to ask." "Well, then take it. I hope you can find out the soul master force that secretly cultivates evil soul masters in the Sun Moon Empire," Shu Han said. The two were talking, and suddenly they saw a light at the foot of the mountain in the distance. It was Ye Gai's people from the Ordinary Alliance. Ye Gai immediately called them, shouting, "Hey! We're here. It's Miss Yi, hurry up." The people from the Ordinary Alliance quickly went up the mountain and came to Ye Gai and Shu Han. "Miss Yi, how did you get so embarrassed?" "It's okay. The evil soul masters we found this time are not simple. One of them is a soul saint level strongman. We almost fell into their hands. There is actually an evil soul master of this level here." Everyone was a little surprised when they heard it. It's a long story. We will inform the leader of the matter after we return to the Alliance. Now let's leave here first. Ye Gai had a serious face, and his tone immediately became gentle when he said to Shu Han, "Shu Han, leave here with me first." "Yes." Shu Han nodded. With the help of the people from the Ordinary Alliance, the two left this lawless area comfortably. Then they got on the carriage prepared by the Ordinary Alliance and headed to the nearest city. On the way, Ye Gai wanted to talk to Shu Han, and she had all kinds of questions she wanted to know, to understand, to ask Shu Han. But Shu Han was sitting cross-legged and practicing Qigong to heal his wounds. She couldn't disturb him, so she could only sit beside him and watch Shu Han silently. Ye Gai fell asleep tiredly after watching him. She was actually also in a weak state and very tired. As she slept, she leaned her head on Shu Han's shoulder unconsciously. Shu Han, who was practicing Qigong to heal his wounds, opened her eyes and looked at Ye Gai leaning on her shoulder, looking at her sleeping face. Shu Han not only looked at her twice more, he shook his head and smiled dotingly, without saying anything, nor moving around, just sitting quietly, letting her lean on him. In fact, Ye Gai woke up several times during the way. When she found that she was leaning on Shu Han's shoulder, Shu Han did not push her away, but sat honestly. She smiled secretly, very sweetly, and then continued to sleep. Even sometimes when she was awake, she would still lean on Shu Han's shoulder like this. The two of them sat in the carriage silently without any communication, but their relationship was getting closer and closer, and there was less and less sense of distance between them. It was very subtle. After a night, the sun rose slowly, and the carriage finally arrived in the city and stopped in front of the gate of a force. There were 3 big words written on the gate. Ordinary League. Ye Gai's Ordinary League was in this city. Wake up, it's your Ordinary League. Shu Han raised his shoulders. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 624. Are all women so slow? Well, are we here? Ye Gai had actually woken up a long time ago. She opened her eyes in a daze and said gently, "Then Shu Han, your injuries have not yet recovered. You should stay in my Ordinary League for a few days to recuperate, okay?" "Okay, that's a bother." "No, we are guests. Let's go in quickly." Ye Gai enthusiastically pulled Shu Han out of the car, and then took him into the Ordinary League. Shu Han walked in and looked at the Ordinary League. It seemed that it was not simple. It was not a small force, and Ye Gai seemed to have a very high status in the Ordinary League. In this way, Shu Han stayed in the Ordinary League temporarily. Ye Gai immediately asked the healer in the league to heal Shu Han. After the healer was done, Ye Gai arranged a room for Shu Han to rest, and this room was next to Ye Gai's boudoir. "You can live here. My room is next to it. If you need anything, come to me at any time." Well, in this way, Shu Han stayed in the Ordinary League temporarily. After 3 days, Shu Han and Ye Gai's injuries were almost healed. In the morning, Ye Gai dressed up beautifully and knocked on Shu Han's door. Knock, knock, knock. "Shu Han, it's me, Ye Gai. Come in." Shu Han's voice came from inside the room. Ye Gai pushed the door open and saw Shu Han washing up. She sat obediently on the chair and waited. After Shu Han came out after washing up, she said bluntly, "Shu Han, the token we got from the Soul-Sent Evil Soul Master that day has been shown to the Alliance leader and others. They have never seen such a token. The Alliance leader intends to hand a token over to the Sun Moon Empire royal family and let the Empire come forward to investigate and find out the power represented by this token. The Empire will come forward." Well, that's fine. Shu Han thought about it and had no objection. Although he took the token, the ultimate goal was to find out the power behind the Soul Master and the Evil Soul Master and eliminate more Evil Soul Masters. After all, this is the Sun Moon Empire. The Wihun Empire and the Wihun Hall will not know the situation here better than the Sun Moon Royal Family, and it is not easy for the Wihun Hall to interfere in the affairs of the Sun Moon Empire. Handing it over to the Sun Moon Empire is the best choice. The Soul-Sent Evil Soul Master they killed and the token were actually from a Soul Master force called the Holy Spirit Religion. The Holy Spirit Religion was an Evil Soul Master organization, and most of its followers were Evil Soul Masters. The Holy Spirit Religion was also speculated by Ye Gai Pingfen that there was a force that secretly cultivated Evil Soul Masters. But the Holy Spirit Religion was very hidden. In addition to the Sun and Moon Empire, the Wihun Empire, and the other 2 empires on the Douluo plate did not know that such a religion existed. Even the Pingfen, which was considered to be very powerful in the Sun and Moon Empire, did not know the existence of the Holy Spirit Religion. Only the Sun and Moon Empire royal family. At the same time, there was a bigger secret in it, that is, the Holy Spirit Religion and the Sun and Moon Empire were secretly colluding. But at present, Ye Gai Pingfen and Shu Han knew nothing about this information. "Well, my injuries have almost recovered in the past few days, and I should leave your Pingfen," Shu Han suddenly said. "Are you leaving now?" Ye Gai was stunned, his eyes reluctant to leave. "Well, my vacation is only 1 month. I'll go around other places in the Sun Moon Empire and it will be almost time to go back." Shu Han avoided Ye Gai's gaze. He did have a good impression of this girl, but it was just a good impression. Holiday. Shu Han, which academy are you from? Ye Gai asked. There is generally no such thing as vacation in sects, families, or Soul Master forces like the ordinary league. There is only one possibility, which is the Soul Master Academy. Spirit Hall Academy. Sure enough. Ye Gai smiled bitterly in his heart. Shu Han is so talented and powerful. Such a person must be from the strongest academy in the entire continent, the Spirit Hall Academy. The leader of the Ordinary League also specifically asked that he hoped to win over Shu Han to join the Ordinary League, but when he heard that Shu Han was from the Spirit Hall Academy, Ye Gai gave up. The Ordinary League is completely incomparable to the Spirit Hall Academy. How could she keep Shu Han? And although Ye Gai is interested in Shu Han, it is impossible for her to leave the Ordinary League and follow Shu Han, so the two will eventually part ways. Thinking of this, Ye Gai's mood became depressed. At this time, Shu Han suddenly said, "You should be familiar with the Sun Moon Empire, right? How about you be my guide and take me around the Sun Moon Empire? Do you have time?" Ye Gai was very happy to hear this. Yes. Ha, then let's go together. Shu Han smiled. Now? Yes. Immediately, let's go. Okay. Then wait for me, I'll go talk to the leader, and then pack up the gifts, and then we'll go, hey. Looking at the expectant smile on Ye Gai's face, Shu Han also smiled warmly. Don't worry, take your time, I'll wait for you. Ye Gai returned to her room happily, packed her clothes, and then dressed herself up carefully. In front of a large number of clothes in the closet, she didn't know what to wear after picking for a long time. What should I wear? This one? Or this one? Or this one? Ah. What should I do? It's so hard to choose. Ye Gai was madly entangled. Unknowingly, she had been in the room for half an hour. Shu Han asked with a look of dismay. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Did it take so long? It would only take 10 minutes at most to pack some clothes. Shu Han muttered to himself that he didn't mind, maybe he could go to the bathroom and clean up the room or something. Half an hour would be normal. Soon, an hour had passed. Oh my god, it's been an hour, why hasn't she come out yet? What is she doing in the room? Why is it taking so long? Shu Han was a little helpless and wandered around the door of Ye Gai's room. After more than an hour, the door finally opened. In order to look more compatible with Shu Han, Ye Gai wore a black dress today and put on some light makeup on her face, which suddenly gave people a brand new feeling. Because she rarely wears black clothes. Shu Han was stunned when he saw this. He looked at Ye Gai in front of him and there was only one word. Beautiful. Ye Gai touched his hair and asked shyly, Shu Han, do I look good in this dress? Shu Han came back to his senses and smiled awkwardly. It looks good. He asked, so, what did you do in the room for an hour? I just changed my clothes, packed my clothes, and put on some simple makeup. That's all you did in an hour. Shu Han couldn't help but twitch his mouth. Ye Gai said awkwardly, sorry, I kept you waiting. Are all women so slow? Chapter 625 Tianmeng. Senpai is my lover. Are you wow? Are all women so slow? Shu Han muttered to himself and waved his hand. It's okay, let's go. Ye Gai was like a well-behaved little wife, smiling and following Shu Han obediently, and the two left together. When they were almost at the entrance of the Ordinary League, a subordinate suddenly reported, Miss Yi, where are you going? Miss Nankikyo from the Earth Dragon Gate just sent a message, saying that she is going to our Ordinary League to play with you, Miss Yi. Ye Gai refused very decisively. Tell her not to come, I want to go out for a trip. Subordinates. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. What's going on? Aren't Miss Nankikyo and Miss Yi the best sisters? Every time Miss Nankikyo wants to come, Miss Yi is always full of expectations. No matter what, she will push away and accompany Miss Nankikyo. This time, Miss Nankikyo was asked not to come. Going out for a trip, or going out with this kid from the Wihun Empire later? Could it be? The subordinate seemed to have thought of something, and quickly replied, okay, I'll write back to Miss Nankikyo. Shu Han didn't know that Nankikyo had a good relationship with Ye Gai, so he didn't think much about it. The two of them left the Ordinary League. They embarked on a journey to travel around the Sun Moon Empire. Shu Han told Ye Gai that he wanted to visit the capital of the Sun Moon Empire, Sun Moon City, so the two of them traveled along the route of Sun Moon City. On the way, the two of them went forward together, enjoying the mountains and rivers, seeing the scenery of the Sun Moon Empire, as well as some famous and interesting attractions, and eating on the way through the local food streets in the city. They also experienced some things and adventures on the way, practicing together, eating, occasionally exchanging swordsmanship and swordsmanship. The relationship between the two began to become more and more familiar, closer and closer to intimacy, and communication, laughter, and joy became more and more frequent. Washuhan and his sister were traveling around the Sun Moon Empire. At this moment, Ayuya was still in the extremely cold far north, enduring the extreme cold and ice and forcing forward. He finally arrived at the core area of the far north. And they encountered a group of huge, snow-white soul beasts that walked on two legs. What a terrifying size! Ayuya was very surprised, because one of them was hundreds of meters tall, like a pillar supporting the sky. Brother Qian Meng. That. What kind of soul beast is that so big? Ayuya was shocked. Qian Mengai's silkworm said, they are the Titan Snow Demon clan. Legend has it that they are the descendants of the ancient ice god. They are the largest soul beasts in the far north. The largest one among them is the king of the Titan Snow Demon clan, the Titan Snow Demon King, one of the three kings of the far north. He should be the ruler of the far north now. The three kings of the far north. Brother Qian Meng, who are the other two kings? Ayuya asked in confusion. A trace of sadness and sorrow flashed in Qian Mengai's silkworm's eyes, because it remembered the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion Ice Emperor, and Qian Mengai's silkworm liked Ice Emperor. Alas, Qian Meng sighed, and then explained. The other two are the Ice Snow Queen, the Snow Emperor, and the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, the Ice Emperor, but they have already turned into gods and followed the dragon god Chu Ye 10,000 years ago to the god realm. It turns out that one of the three great kings of the far north, the Ice Emperor and the Snow Emperor, is one of the gods of the dragon god Chu Ye. Ayuya said excitedly. There are still many legends and traces about the dragon god Chu Ye 10,000 years ago. Ayuya knew that there were 5 gods in the body of the dragon god Chu Ye, just like Qian Meng's ice silkworm coexisting with Douluo, but he didn't know which 5 gods they were. Today he finally knew 2 gods. Qian Meng's ice silkworm sighed again. If Ice Emperor had not become the spirit of dragon god Chu Ye, I would be 70 to 80% sure that I could make Ice Emperor your second martial soul this time. She has been cultivating for 400,000 years. Unfortunately, we are ultimately not destined to have the Ice Emperor. This time I can only find you an Ice Jade Scorpion of about 50,000 years old as your second martial soul. 50,000 years, I can barely handle it. The Ice Jade Scorpion as a martial soul will also be a top-notch beast martial soul, and there is a chance it will evolve into the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion. If it's the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, this martial soul will be a top-grade beast martial soul. Listen to Brother Qian Meng's arrangements. Ayuya naturally had no objection, but he felt that Qian Mengai's silkworm always had a hint of sadness when talking about the Ice Emperor. This puzzled him, so he asked, Brother Qian Meng, is this Ice Emperor related to you? Why do I feel that something is wrong every time you mention Ice Emperor? Brother Qian Meng sighed again and said seriously, Ice Emperor is my lover. Her lover? A bug and a scorpion are in love. Soul beasts like ice scorpions seem to eat bugs like you, Brother Qian Meng. You and Ice Emperor are lovers. Ayuya looked unconvinced. Brother Qian Meng coughed twice in embarrassment and said, to be precise, it's me who loves you. That means Brother Qian Meng, you're like Bingdi, but Bingdi may not like you. Qian Mengai's silkworm rolled his eyes. Go away. Can't you see through it without saying it out loud? Then he said with a face full of fighting spirit, I will definitely work hard to get together with Bingdi in the end. Ayuya really didn't want to discourage Qian Meng, but in his opinion this was a bit unrealistic. Brother Qian Meng, Bingdi is the spirit of dragon god Chu Ye. They are in the god realm. How hard are you going to work to create a god? As long as I train you to become a god, when you become a god and ascend to the god realm, I can ascend to the god realm with you and become a godlike existence like Bingdi, so that I can see Bingdi. So, Xiaoliao, you must work hard to cultivate, ascend to become a god in the future, and pursue luck for me. Ayuya. Well, although Qian Mengai's silkworm is a million-year-old soul beast, Ayuya feels very awesome and classy, but what kind of existence is Bingdi? A powerful god in the god realm? Or the spirit that followed Chu Ye back then? In Ayuya's opinion, this level is much more awesome than Brother Qian Meng. He said, Brother Qian Meng, let's not talk about whether you can pursue the Ice Emperor or become a god. Ayuya can't do it either. Ayuya really didn't expect that he could cultivate to become a god. In fact, he would be easily satisfied if he could cultivate to the level of titled Douluo now. If he pursued a higher level, he would be able to enter the ranks of 96 level high-level titled Douluo. Becoming a god is too far away. Xiao Yue, it's not impossible for you to become a god with your brother's support. You must have confidence in yourself. You must also have confidence in me. Qian Renxue can encouraged. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.